tuning in.
Hey, what's up, Hello News family? Welcome to another episode of the Can We Talk podcast, our show where we talk to dope people in the community doing dope things. And today is a little different because this is a special edition of the Can We Talk podcast, and we're talking all things Broward County politics. We don't give Broward enough love, so I wanted to make sure I had one of my favorites from Broward County come break things down for y'all. But we got a spirited and interesting and fun conversation for y'all. Make sure we are live, okay, y'all, like live, like Channel 7 News today. So make sure y'all come in the comments. We'll be showing y'all comments on the screen. Y'all can access stuff live. But without further ado, I would love to welcome to the show my friend and huge Hello News supporter, Mr. Brian C. Johnson, community advocate and former elected official, and the bald guy with the bow tie.
Ball
Hey.
guy with the ball tie. What's up? What's happening, Jay?
You know what? Welcome. Look, I appreciate you for being patient with me and trying to get it together for this broadcast, but
It's
I
good.
pushed through. I wasn't feeling the best a little bit earlier, but I was like, Brian, please, can we do it? So I appreciate you for working with me and pivoting and rocking with me to get this conversation because it's that important to me.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I mean, we're in the middle of an election season. It's early voting right now in Miami-Dade and Broward and Palm Beach County, and there are some things that we both observed individually that I saw your Facebook post, you saw mine, and it's like, yo, let's tell the people about what we're looking at.
No, definitely. It is crazy out there, in these election streets. And like right now, I'm trying to get this shared to as many groups as possible. So if y'all are watching it, please like it and share it with other people so that they could get in on this conversation. I don't think y'all want to miss this one because we gonna have a good conversation. Hey y'all, what's up in the comment section? Ow, ow. Look, you know what? We got a lot of things to cover. And if you guys saw that headline, we talking about Project 2025 connection to Broward County, some shadiness going on with a few black pastors, and of course, all this drama at the early voting polls. So I want to get into the most important thing first, at least to me. Like I think the juiciest, this Project 2025 connection to Broward County candidates. This has been all the talk all over the country at this point, but it wasn't until I spoke to you offline that I realized they have permeated South Florida. So, can you tell
Yeah.
us who Moms for Liberty are, what their connection is to Project 2025, and what their connection is to some Broward County candidates running in the upcoming election on August 20th?
So we got to give a shout out to our queen, Taraji P. Henson, who, while there are those of us who are observers of politics who've known about Project 2025 at least for a year now, uh, Taraji P. Henson making mention of it on the BET Awards, I believe, sort of
Mm.
really brought a national spotlight on it. And because she brought a national spotlight on it, people started looking into it. And the more they looked into it, the more they realized that the consequences of this election are extreme because these are not just thoughts, these are actual plans. And there are videos that they're actually training people to implement these plans right now today. And so if Project 2025 is a fascist playbook, then you have to ask the question, who are the coaches? Who are the people who designed the offense and defense? Who are the people who are putting the people on the field? And there are about 100 organizations that created Project 2025. One of those
Wow.
organizations is called Moms for Liberty. Moms for Liberty is being sold as a group of concerned parents, mothers, who want to be actively involved in protecting their children from a woke culture. But the
Oh,
organization
Lord.
itself was founded
Not
in the
the woke.
tradition. Yeah, woke, exactly right. So the organization itself was founded in the tradition of the Daughters of Confederacy. And if anybody know anything about the Daughters of Confederacy, they are directly responsible for all the Confederate monuments you see across the nation. So you have this group of so-called educational advocates who are mothers who are now a part of a broader network of conservative actors who
Mm,
contributed to Project 2025, and they have a specific role, Janae. Their role is to white nationalize public education across the nation.
wow.
And they found a very willing participant in Governor Ron DeSantis. So Florida is kind of ground zero for their wildest dreams. Right now,
Mm,
in this election, they're pushing candidates to sort of try to conquer the final frontier in Florida, which is Broward County, the most Democratic county in the state. And they actually have 5 candidates that they're pushing. And I'm thinking if Black people are concerned about Project 2025, you would think there would be lines at the poll right now trying to vote. So we need to talk about what this means and how this comes and why we need to be voting right now.
yes. Look, when you told me that, I was like, are you serious that there are candidates in Broward County that have this connection to this extreme right wing movement and no one is really talking about it? And so, we got a few infographics that we're gonna be pulling on the screen for you. I want to know who are these candidates, Brian? And while you're talking, I'm gonna go to your page and pull up some pictures of these people because I think you posted some stuff about them.
Yeah, so let's be clear. Project 20, the Moms for Liberty, for example, because a part of Project 2025 that they're responsible for is public education.
Mm.
So Moms for Liberty across the nation have supported about 166 school board candidates. Thank God, 2/3 of them have failed. So about 66, 67% of them, the voters rejected. In Broward County, they've identified 5 candidates because there are 5 school board races that are right now on the ballot. And they wanted to make sure they had 5 chances of getting somebody through. 2 of those 5 are incumbents who were appointed by Ron DeSantis. I want to highlight one of them specifically, Daniel Fogelholly,
Are
because
these
he's
the
been,
are these
those
the
are the 5.
candidates?
I'm
Just want to
sorry, yeah,
let the
blow
people
those up.
know on the screen that I pulled up a flyer that there was an event in Broward County on July 9th. So these were the candidates that they're supporting?
Yeah, yeah. So imagine this, and I said this last time. Imagine like a racist group of moms deciding we want to have school board candidates. Who can we support who we think aligns with our issues? So imagine, Janae, you know damn well they would never call Brian C. Johnson because
Mm.
they know that there's nothing about me that's anywhere close with what they stand for. As a matter of fact, I'm standing in the middle of the road trying to do everything I can to stop them from coming to Broward County. So they had to
Mm.
look around the county and figure out who are the people who are most likely to be aligned with what they stand for. They started with 2 incumbents. In 2022, DeSantis appointed some appointees to Broward County Public Schools after he removed 4 of them. One
Mm.
of them, Daniel Fogelholly, who I'm going to talk about extensively because he's a poster child for not
That's him
only,
right here, y'all.
he's a
That
poster
one.
child for not only how we can fall for tricks as Black folk and end up supporting people who are not good for us, but
That
Daniel
part.
Fogelholly don't even live in this district. District 1 is Southern Broward County, where I am, West Park, Hallandale, East Miramar, Pembroke Park, Hollywood. And
Are
yet
you serious?
he lives 30 miles away in Coral Springs.
How is that possible? Because I thought you had to live in a district that you represent. I think that's just basics
Not when you were
of
being
elections.
appointed. Remember, the voters never voted for him, ever. He's been appointed twice to
Oh,
Broward County Public Schools. And DeSantis didn't give a damn enough about our community to make sure he found somebody from our community to represent us. He's appointed somebody who he already knew was loyal to him because he had appointed him once before. So he's been appointed to represent District 1 in Southern Broward County, living 30 miles away. And for all accounts, he's only been here 4 times before this election.
what?
Yeah.
I don't Brian, the thing that bothers me a lot when I hear stuff like this, like how and somebody said it in the comments, shout out this to Zakia and JJ in the comments, but Zakia said is so, how have they been able to be so discreet about this project? That is crazy. Like
In terms of they haven't been really been discreet if you've been watching. Cheeto Satan, and I don't like to use the T word. I like to call him what he is, Cheeto Satan. Cheeto Satan
wait,
talks
wait,
about
wait.
policies.
You do know every time, like when you say Cheeto Satan, I be like, who the fuck is he talking about? For he don't like to say the words, but for y'all who don't know who he talking about, he talking about former President Trump.
Yeah, I
So
call him
from
Cheeto
here
Satan. Right.
here on out, he gonna be known as Cheeto Satan
Cheeto
by way
Satan.
of Brian.
Exactly. So Cheeto Satan has actually on his way out last time. A lot of what is in Project 2025 was in the process of being implemented. He just ran out of time. So they spent all the
Mm.
time since when before he left getting a new a thorough plan together, and they published a 922-page document, which is a how-to guide to become a fascist society. And so they haven't really kept it under wraps. The problem is that they have been taking advantage of the fact that the average voter is disconnected from information, and they want to take
Mm.
advantage of the low information that the average voter has, while at the same time they've been recruiting people. Just this past Saturday, in addition to the fact that the news that came out that Cheeto Satan's campaign emails have been hacked, which y'all may not be seeing a whole lot about. We'll talk about it later.
I haven't
But
seen
there was
that.
also a inside release of 14 hours of training videos for Project 2025. They have a
Wow.
website. They have a closed network where they're training people in 14 different modules on how to do things like work with Congress, how to get an appointment, how to push a bill through, how to deal with police and what have you. So they're training people now. They're developing a long list of people who want to be appointed. Remember, they want to fire 500 people who work for the government, and they want to replace them with loyalists. They are recruiting those people right now as we speak. So when
It's
Cheeto
an
Satan talks about,
organization for me though.
yeah,
Like it's
I mean, they're very thorough now. Now they're very thorough. It's the reason why we're saying that we're not being outworked, we're being out organized. And those people are very
mm.
organized. So they haven't really kept it a secret. We just have to pay attention. And I'm glad more people are.
And so these candidates, can we get back into some of those candidates that are
Let's do it.
running and definitely as a kid, we got to get our head out the goddamn sand because we gonna lose what the little bit that we do have, the little bit of freedoms. To talk about these candidates again, like can we kind of go into some of like who these people are? Or can you share a little bit inside of who these people are?
So the what we do know is that there are two of them. District one is Daniel Fogenharley. Again, I got a lot more to say about him because he's supposed to be representing my area. And like I said,
Mm,
he's the great poster child for not only trying to trick us into believing that Confederates are our friends, but you know how they always talk about DEI candidate and how black
mhm.
folk don't get jobs, or black people must be growing and getting promotions because of who we are. There's some privilege that always goes on, and I declare he is a poster child of privilege, and we'll talk
Not
about
the
it.
cliff.
So he's a District One, which covers South Broward County, as I mentioned. District Two is also an incumbent, Tori Austin, who covers also southern, but includes the western part of southern Broward County, the Miramar, Pembroke Pines, Davie kind of area. You have there are three other guys who nobody really knows because
Mhm.
they haven't really done much of anything, especially not in education. But you can tell they were recruited. None of them have very many endorsements by any known groups. They don't have any testifiers of people who actually can say, here's why I think they need to be replacing three good people who are already on the board. So you have
Mhm.
one person trying to replace Sarah Leonardi in District 3. You have one person trying to replace Dr. Jeff Holdens in District 5. And you have another trying to replace Debbie Hickson, who's District 9, but she's countywide. So you have three brand new people with little knowledge of who they are, but being put forth before our people saying, choose them and get rid of the people who you already have. When the people we already have, at least the three who they're trying to replace, have been strong allies for black folk. Why would black people choose people who they don't know? That's the trick of this election season that we're here to talk about.
Here's the thing that I find to be very sneaky about, what you're saying that Moms for Liberty is doing is that these people are people of color that they have appointed to put in these positions. And so it feels like they're trying to do the whole like, look, here's a shiny black Negro for y'all to vote for. They're black, so they must be, somebody that you could support. Do you feel like that's behind the strategy of what they're doing?
Well, of course it is. This is Broward County. This is strongly Democratic Broward County, and that's a unapologetically, in fact, for what I can tell, all 5 of those are Republicans. And if there isn't one, they haven't made it clear. But I do know that 4 out of the 5 are definitely Republicans. Not exactly sure what Pastor Ferguson affiliation is, but he was recruited too, just like the rest of them. And but let me give them some credit. Let me give them the benefit, the only benefit of the doubt that I'm going to give. So let's just assume that there are people who truly believe that they're good people, right? Let's assume that there are people who know them because they went to church with them, because they've worked with them in other parts of government, because they met them one time and thought they were good people. I declare there's a couple of problems I have. One, just because they're good people don't mean they're going to be good representatives for our children and good leaders of our school system. 2, how come all of them came by way of Moms for Liberty and Republicans? All of them.
Questions that need answered.
And what is it about them that made them attractive to them? I see that Pastor Ferguson has joined us. Good, sir. I'm glad you clarified.
Oh, snap.
Let's talk about this, because now, and if there's a way in which we can bring him on, because I want to know, what is it about you, Pastor Ferguson, that was so attractive to people who are trying to push Project 2025 in Broward County, that they chose you to support? What is it about you that they chose? And so
every knee must bow and every tongue must confess. Pastor Ferguson, you want me to send you the link, Pastor Ferguson? Because this is I ain't never had somebody hop on the line.
Yeah, I want him to jump on, because I want to know, what is it about him that they saw in him? How did they choose him? How did he, when they called him, why did he answer? When they talked to him on the phone and told them who they were, why didn't he hang up? When they invited him to that meeting, why did he show up?
Pastor Ferguson, look, these are questions that need answers. If I would like to know, why are you taking the support of Moms for Liberty, or appearing to take the support from Moms for Liberty? Brian, you ain't never strike me as somebody who's scared. Can we
because
can we send him the link? Can we send him the link, Pastor Ferguson?
Because he's the person who I was thinking about when I say there are some people who think that they're good people, right? Because there are people who I know and trust who think he's a good man. What I don't think is, I don't think that he has the qualifications to replace a good school board member who he's trying to replace. Because there's a school board member who has the experience of being a good school board member that he wants to replace, and I see no evidence that he has the qualifications for it. So I want to know, what's the motive for his mission?
Ooh, Pastor Ferguson, I'm not sure if you're Pastor Ferguson, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on our Facebook like page, there is a link in the comments. I'm going to see how I can figure out how to get you the link to your DM. But if you can copy and paste to have one of your grandbabies to help you get on, we would love to have you have this conversation. And honestly, here's the thing. I'm so glad he hopped on, because Brian, you brought up a great point in some of our side conversations. Why haven't any of these candidates reject the Moms for Liberty support? Why are you okay with being affiliated with a group who is a part of Project 2025? Like, these are questions that need to be answered.
I want to ask that question, because here's the thing. Tori Austin, who I do want to put an asterisk next to, because I want to talk about him later on. Because when I say that, giving some of them the benefit of the doubt, that there are people who truly believe in their heart they're good people, I may be unpopular in saying this, but Tori Austin has been a friend of mine since we were kids. We went to the same Boys and Girls Club. Tori Austin has always been a Republican. He's one of those Moms for Liberty candidates. Tori Austin has always been a Republican, but I found Tori Austin to be the kind of guy who, when he does something that looks shady and that is shady, I call and cuss his ass out, and we have this conversation. But when it comes time to doing some things, Tori Austin has absolutely done some things that have been beneficial for Black folk. But here's my philosophy. First of all, I can say this, and I know all of them are watching, but I've never mentioned his opponent's name, and there's a reason for that. The reason
Why is
I
that?
haven't is because the reality is that Tori Austin has some redeeming characteristics. He absolutely, when he worked for the state, he did some things for the city of West Park when I was the vice mayor that we have been trying over and over again to get done. When we had this issue that I'm going to talk about Fogenholly about, and I hope Fogenholly jumps on because he's the one who's been running from me. But when we talk about
Mm.
this issue, that when I talk
You,
about Fogenholly,
Brian, you bring the people out, so keep calling them out.
well, because yeah, listen, I don't know these people. I want to be totally honest. I don't know them, and I can't find anything about them. But what I do know is that if you're going to present yourself to interrupt or remove allies that I, as an advocate for Black children and families, and I, as an advocate for Black businesses, have been dependent upon, you got to at least tell me, or prove to me that you're just as good as them. You can't just be pursuing a mission because somebody put you up to it and try to get my people to vote to support you to get rid of people who's been advocates. And then now we lose successful, effective advocates in exchange for what?
Hmm. It honestly, and it's a great question, and it needs to be addressed. Pastor Ferguson, we just sent a DM to you. There's a link in the comments. So if you when you ready to come on and talk your talking and answer some of these questions that Brian has proposed, please join us. We love to have you on say your side of things because the affiliation with Moms for Liberty is very suspect. And so what's
But
going on in the words of Marvin Gaye? What's
but
going
watch
on?
this. They don't have to believe you and I. Tory put out a list of folk who endorsed him. And because he
Who is
does that,
Tory?
Tory Austin, he's the appointed by DeSantis to represent District 2. He's the one
Gotcha.
who I was just talking about, a friend of mine since childhood. He's a Republican. But Tory put out a list of people who are endorsing him, right? And when that list included some high-ranking Democratic elected officials, they caught holy hell, including
Mm.
Congressman Jared Moskowitz. And Jared Moskowitz had to pull his endorsement. And there are others who chose not to endorse because they knew that affiliation with Moms for Liberty would be toxic.
Wow. And so you're
How come the candidates don't know that? I want Pastor Ferguson on, and I want to be extremely respectful because I've been trying to figure out how is it. I got people who I know who trust him. How is it that these very important things escape you, and I can't find a single statement from you that clarifies your difference in opinion, your difference in perspective, your commitment to totally ignore a band of happy racists? And if they are endorsing you, I want to know what is it about you that they see. Come tell us that.
Pastor, come get on the line. While we waiting for Pastor to figure out his Wi-Fi connection and what he got going on over there. Brian,
Let me
I
talk
want to
about one. Let
continue.
me talk about one of his fellow Moms for Liberty candidates for a second,
Yeah,
because
that's what I'm saying. I want to pull up some more of these candidates and see. Oh, snap. Oh, Pastor is backstage. You know
let's
what?
go.
I love it. Come, Pastor, I'm gonna let you get some time to get settled. Look like you walking around. Give me a thumbs up in the screen when you're ready to come on. Okay, you ready? Hello, Pastor Windsor Ferguson. Thank you so much. First of all, welcome to Hollow News, our Can We Talk podcast. Our show, we talk to dope people in the community doing dope things. This is a conversation that we like to have. Let me get this off of me and Brian's head so the people could see us clearly. But thank you so much for hopping on. I would love to know, just give a quick, before we get into the nitty-gritty, let the people know who you are and where you're from.
All right, my name is Windsor Ferguson, actually Bishop Windsor Ferguson. I am from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm running for school board member, District 5. Um, I've graduated from Dilla High School, class of 83. And I believe it's time for some change. And I jumped on because I want to correct, and I've already talked to several people about this, even the Black Democratic Caucus, because when they asked me the question also about Moms for Liberty, how did I get involved with Moms for Liberty? And I'm going to tell you the same thing I told them, same thing I told Moms for Liberty, and that I even actually posted on Facebook to help settle some of the confusion. For
Mhm.
one, I am not a supporter of Moms for Liberty. I was asked by them, they approached me at my first event and asked me would I come speak. Well, I am a bishop. I speak to everybody. And when we spoke at the event, the forum that everybody wants to send a picture out, I talked about not having inappropriate books dealing with sexual contents available for our students in inappropriate age. But I also talked about we should not be talking about changing our history, especially dealing with Black people and dealing with things like of the Holocaust. History is what defines us, it helps what shapes us, it is who we are. So that
Mhm.
was the comment and the statements that was made at a Moms for Liberty event. Now, I do not socialize with them. I don't go out with them. That's not how that is. That was an opportunity for me to talk to them specifically about, uh,
Is this the picture in question what you're talking about? I just wanted
yes,
to give people a visual. Gotcha.
yes. There was an opportunity for me to address a concern as, for one, as a minister and as a Black man, that we should not be trying to change history.
Mhm.
Now, they approached me later and said, well, no, that's not true. That's a lie. We're not trying to change Black history and this and this and that. I said, well, you need to put a statement out there stating that, because there are statements that our governor has said, and the things that seem like you have aligned with, that maybe you need to clear your identity, just like I'm going on Facebook and do a live post so people to know that I am not endorsed by Moms for Liberty, and neither do I support them. What I do support is us not having inappropriate books in our schools, in our libraries for our third graders and sixth graders to learn about sexual positions, about rape, incest, and things at that age.
Mm.
All right.
Okay. Brian, you had something,
Yeah, I do. First of all, I'm pleased to finally meet you, Pastor Ferguson.
Yes.
And I can say for the people watching that there are people who believe you are a good man. So it's important that they recognize the fact that there is nothing in my intent to question your integrity as a man. I am questioning your motives as a candidate and your qualifications to replace somebody who is effective. So now let me ask you a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
When you said that you decided to join a group who were known cheerleaders for the Confederates, there
Yes.
is no question that Moms for Liberty
mm,
are cheerleaders for the Confederates. But you decided to go to them to have
Yes.
a conversation about books being banned. When you went, did you know that in the state of Florida there were 400 books that were banned? There were 30 social study books that were banned. Not a single one had LGBTQ criteria content in it. There were 47 other social study books that were rewritten. There were 54 math books that were banned because those
mm,
math books had Black people looking good. And there were in the 47 social study books that were rewritten, they rewrote the parts that they said will make white kids feel bad because it talked too much about slavery and institutional racism. Did you know that when you went?
Evidently, I must have knew that, because I told them we should not be changing history, which they did, which the
mm,
authors changing those books did. No, I'm not supporting anybody changing history, any type of literature, any type of math books, or anything of that nature. And I didn't get specific to say math books and all of that, but I let it known that Black history should not be changed, period. Regardless of in what book, how many books, past or future. The books I referred to was the books that ban at the library, that now they have sanctioned for our third graders and our sixth graders to learn about all these things about incest, rape, and sex. That's what I address. One of the
Are
other things
you
I address.
what convinced you that? Let me do this because I don't want to go too much in detail. Janae, can you put that picture back up, please?
mhm.
You recall that conversation, right, Pastor Ferguson?
Which conversation? The one we
This
talked
this
about now?
meeting, this meeting.
Yes.
Did you know in advance who else was being invited? Did you ask, or did anybody else tell you who else was being invited?
I didn't know everybody who was going to be there. No.
Do you now, a month and a half, 2 months later, know if there was anybody invited except for those people who were on that blue flyer?
No.
Okay. Looking to your left on that picture, as you sat in that seat, looking to your left, did you realize that all three of those happen to be Republicans?
No.
Did you not realize since then that everybody on that flyer happened to be Republican, which is why, again, me giving you deference, because the people who I know who believe in you as a person would not know if you were Republican or Democrat. So I didn't know if you were. So I'm glad you clarified if you weren't. But everybody else on that flyer was.
Right. I understand that.
So if as an old person told me before, if I'm shooting at my enemy and you happen to get hit, wouldn't that suggest that you shouldn't have been standing over there?
Well, I'm going to say this. I'm running in a nonpartisan race, so I was not concerned whether or not the people next to me was Republican or Democrat. What I am concerned is about our children. My race is all about saving our children. I didn't make this about Democrat or Republican. I made this about certain views that we need to be concerned about. That's why I talked about these books not being available for our children in appropriate ages. I didn't talk about Republican or Democrat. And I understand what you're saying, because it looks like it gives the appearance that I'm hanging out with Republicans. And so the Democrats were upset already that, well, are you Republican or you're a Democrat? I've been a Democrat all my life. Still going to be a Democrat. But I do stand on the principles of the word of God and things that I need to do also as a man of God and do what God is calling me to do.
So there's a couple of things. One.
Yeah. Wait, and before you go on, because we had a few questions. Can you hold that thought for me, Brian? We had a few questions in the comments, and Pastor, do you mind addressing some of them?
No, man.
Because Zakiya had a good question about some of the books you were referring to that had, I guess, sexual influences and
in
things
Broward
like
County,
that.
do those books exist?
Yeah, are the in Broward County library? Can you give us some of those examples of those
Some
books?
of the examples is what they're doing now, where they had us sign off for our third graders to be in class and be taught some things about sex, third graders and sixth graders. And those parents that decided not to do it, they could opt out, and they supposedly would remove their children from that class, which they're not doing. They're just moving them to the side. That's the literature that I'm talking about. Anybody that has a third grader or sixth grader, at the beginning of the end of last school year, they started doing this type of teaching and education on different types of sex. And they began to do, in my opinion, they was mainly not age appropriate.
Pastor Ferguson, do you have a specific book title or author that you
No,
could tell us?
No, I don't have that in front of me right now. I don't have that on me, but it was something that was taught in the classrooms, but I don't have the actual book or anything like that.
Is there somebody who told you that, or you know that for sure?
I know that for sure because I have family that works in Broward County School Board and administration and everything. And I have some parents and also some parishioners that's saying, wow, they're showing this to our kids. And it actually started August of last year that this is something they was doing that came down from Tallahassee about doing this. And you had the right to vote as a parent whether or not you want your children to be exposed to it or not. And what they were doing, the kids that opted out, they were supposed to get moved to another room. And most of the parishioners and people I've talked to, no, that didn't happen. My grandchildren, no, that didn't happen. They just sat us in the back of the room, or the kids came and told us what they was talking about. And we're talking about books with pictures.
So this is why,
okay.
I'm sorry. This is why I'm skeptical, Pastor Ferguson, respectfully.
Okay.
Because you are telling us that as a Black man and a pastor who has influence over people who have total faith in you because they see your connections to God in Christ, that you decided to align with people who have a known devilish agenda over this one issue that none of us, because we're in Broward County, we have a teacher who's commenting now. And of course, I've asked, if you go back to my Facebook page this time last year when they were banning books, and all of those books, the most books that they were banning in South Florida, most of them had to do with civil rights and Black history, not sex. And in the most Democratic county in the state, Broward County, I can assure you that we don't have those same types of issues that are going on in other parts of the state that allow for Moms for Liberty to put people on the school board and say, look, this is what happens here. So I'm telling you that from the teachers I know, the principals I know, that there is not a significant, if any, issue at all with what you're describing. And yet you're telling us that you decided to align with a group of Confederate cheerleaders because of what you've heard is LGBTQ content in the 3rd grade. But did anything about their agenda to defund public schools concern you? Is there do you have any issue with the fact that they've been targeting teachers who decided to teach poems to kids across the state?
Yes, I do. And I need to correct something you said, Brian.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I am not aligned with them. I need to correct that. I'm not aligned with them. And yes, I am not in agreement with their policies and procedures. Again, I went there to speak my truth. And let me give you this. Jesus was crucified. Jesus was talked about because he went and talked to, as they say, the tax collectors. And if we're going to be Christ-like, sometimes you're going to be on a platform in a place that's going to be uncomfortable, that everybody's not going to agree with you about. Jesus didn't align with the tax collectors. He went to go speak his truth. I went there to speak my truth. And if some people not going to agree with it, they're going to persecute me with it. They're going to say he's a Republican. He's aligned with Moms for Liberty. Well, that's not the truth. But it can give the appearance that, okay, he's sitting next to all these Republicans. He's up there on a Moms for Liberty. That's why I put it out on Facebook to make it clear that I am not a supporter. I'm not being endorsed by Moms for Liberty. I do not support their views. I went to talk about some concerns that I had heard in the community.
So I will make this last statement, and Pastor, I really do appreciate it. I sincerely appreciate you coming on and being brave enough to state your case. But I am disappointed because if nothing else, you deciding to go to that table to state under this guise of stating your case when nobody else around you was doing. Everybody in there were conservative Republicans, but that didn't stop you from going in there. And yet, you're trying to make the case that you're not aligned. I still think that there's something suspect about you being invited in the first place. But let me just say this too: the Jesus I know, and I'm not about a biblical scholar. In fact, I'm a Christian with an attendance problem. So I have a problem. So I love God, but I don't do church a whole lot. But the Jesus I learned in Sunday school would have walked in that room and flipped over a table, because Jesus was not about engaging and indulging money changers and people who were exploiting the people for their own selfish gain. And that table, sir, you should not have sat at. You should have flipped over. And the fact that you did not realize that makes me concerned, because those of us who are political, who are experienced political people, know how to spot that danger, know how to separate themselves. I would bet my left kidney that Tory Austin didn't show up on purpose, because he knows better than to show himself to be affiliated with that. And it gives him plausible deniability. So the fact that you did makes me very concerned about your judgment, sir. And especially when you're asking us to choose you over somebody like Dr. Holiness, who they would never ask because they know that he has nothing close to their value system. And yet he's been a very effective advocate for Black children in schools. So that's
I disagree. I disagree with your statement, and everybody has a right to have their opinion. But I am, like I say, I'm a man of God, and I have to address certain issues. That was an opportunity for me to speak to them in a public way to address that issue. Now, I could have got radical and changed their whole agenda, like you say, and flipped the tables and talked about everything that I'm against for them. But I needed them to hear me first, and I needed to walk in there with wisdom. So then I can speak to them to try to get them to understand their value system is misguided. So, but some people wish I would have went in there totally different. Like you say, flip the tables, don't stick by no Republicans and all that kind of stuff. But I believe that in order to save the lost, you have to have some wisdom and you have to use some tactics. But there is a time, though, Brian, and I agree with you. There is a time that you will and I will take it to another level. But we have to do it at the right place at the right time.
And
Gotcha.
I again,
And
I respect you, sir. And I just want to make sure it's known for the people who are watching. I stand on my support for Dr. Jeff Holdens. I think he's a much more um, um, he's a much more experienced candidate. He's doing it now. He has enough sense to never align himself with people who have shady missions like a Moms for Liberty. And I'm hoping that you've learned from this. I'm hoping that the people who are close to you, who let you down this time around, who should have told you not to show up, who should have told you not to entertain those people, because they're not there just to have you as a Negro prop. They called you their candidate. You're on a flyer. You're on their website as their candidate. That's
As,
ownership, sir.
as
and
Moms for
anything
Liberty,
to
as
response
Moms
to
for
that?
Liberty candidate. That's the
Yes,
first I
sir.
heard.
Put up that blue flyer, please, Janae.
I will. And just to make it clear, we are a safe space for all people of all sexual orientations here at High Low News. So just wanted to throw that out there. But I know Pastor Ferguson, as a person who follows the Bible, maybe you have different views on that. But I just want to let our audience know
And,
that's what we
and
support.
see, my challenge is one thing about me going in here, and yes, I might not make all the best decisions. None of us perfect, but at the same time, my opponent has made bad decisions as well. As we tried to get some icon people like Dr. Wanza and Dr. Smiley into office, and he was voting for Victor Cartwright. At the same time, he voted against a lot of black administrators being demoted and coming out of office, and they was highly qualified. But hey, that was
And
his
and
choice.
and
That was
Pastor
his choice.
Ferguson, who did you say did that? Who are you saying
No,
did this?
what he's
Dr.
saying is
Holt,
that
Dr.
there's a
Holt.
black administrator. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm saying.
Yeah, I want to be respectful because I don't know if you knew coming into this, but I've been in and around Broward Public Schools as an advocate for children on the education side. In fact, programs that have turned one of Broward County's parentally F schools into an A school, Sunland Park, and now at Deerfield and other schools. And I've also been the chief advocate for black businesses. So I know a lot of the internal politics. And
Okay.
if you want to get into it, I could talk about some of the challenges with some of the folk you named, but I don't know if you want to get into it because it's something tells me you don't have all the information. You were just told something. So I
No,
got it.
it's not that I was told something. It's just what I observed in going to the school board meetings and noticing sometimes the way they're voting, the little clicks and the nuances that goes on the board that needs to be changed. That we are fighting for our children and not just trying to do other things. And the agendas need to be about our children.
And Brian, can I ask Pastor Ferguson a question because you're talking about things that need to be changed, and so you're a candidate that's running. Can you give us some specific things from your platform that you're saying that need to be changed that aren't happening right now in Broward County Public Schools?
One thing that needs to be changed is for one, our community engagement. They put us in position where our community is more reactive than proactive. Prime example is when we're talking about now this hot topic, redefining schools, closing schools. The criteria that the school board members approved, it should have been more of a way where we could have had a little bit more of a voice as a community because the criteria they approve affects our black and brown students. Here's what I mean. If you notice the criteria, it talks about one of the downfalls being the dilapidated schools. Well, most of them on the east side, they had $800 million worth of smart bound money that they did not use properly, that they are now coming against us as saying your school is not up to par for its appearance. And so it's now counted against you. They have also, and this is a good example, because low enrollment is a big thing that they bring up. Well, some things they cause. Prime example is this. They made Dillard High School a 6 through 12 school. They made Parkway a 3 through 8 school, which feeds Dillard. They took from Broward Estates that feeds Parkway, and now their students going over to Broward. It's going over to Parkway at third grade, which makes Broward Estates under enrolled, a magnet school that the criteria say they must be closed. So those things that we need to look at, we need to adjust about what this criteria is. So one thing we need to do is get the community more involved on the front end. Ironically, I had a conversation today with Dr. Hepburn, and we talked about trying to have dialogue, honest dialogue with our communities on the front end. Don't give us a survey, but talk to us so you can know the needs, the different needs of every community. And then everything that's going to affect should be affected countywide, not just District 5, District 1, District 2, but let it be affected district wide if we have to close the school, but everything should be equitable.
So if I may,
Okay.
Janae,
Anything else from your platform? That was it.
Well, that's one thing. Then we talked about my other thing on my platform is financial accountability. Financial accountability is great. We need transparency. We need to do a better job with the budget. We need to have some hard decisions. All staff should be getting a raise. They should be getting a raise. They need a raise. They need a raise. But we have to have the money to do that. We just can't vote, let's give them a raise, and don't have the money. Even so, by them doing that last year, we go into this year's budget $60 million in the red. So that's a challenge. But also talked about to the point whereas we need to have things equitable across the board, resources for our students, for our staff. Those things need to change. We had some of our schools that did not get their books until the middle of the school year last year, and
Wow.
school started in August. Those are concerns that I have. Where is it happening? It's happening in our Black and brown schools. So that's a concern.
Okay. Brian, you want to address
Yeah,
anything
I
there?
do, because I do want to provide a balanced perspective on a couple of things. Because again, I'm true to this, not new to this. So I don't know if you are aware, but 4 years ago is when this conversation about closing schools hit the head. It didn't hit the head at the level it is now, because now they're looking district wide. But 4 years ago, there was an edict from Tallahassee where those Moms for Liberty people who are their agents, who said that Broward County Public Schools, since y'all are not our favorite school district anyway, we are want to force you all to make sure you have maximum enrollment in schools. And if you can't fill your seats, then I want to give your buildings to charter schools. That was an issue that was back 4 years ago. And there were several specific schools, specifically the schools where I had elementary schools next to middle schools that were being targeted. And here is what I mean by I'm here to protect the fact that I currently have a District 5 representative who's an effective advocate for our kids, and I'm going to fight for him to stay there, even if it means you losing, sir, because hopefully it does. Because here's the point. In 2020, when this came up, there were specific schools who, when their name came up, their school board members jumped in the fray and say, no, you are not going to make a decision about these schools because you haven't given my people a chance to give some input into that. And so those schools quickly became the second guess by staff who was pushing this. And I want to say this also. I don't think that one of the people who you name is going to disagree with me, because she knows, right? She knows. But the reality is that the school board members in those districts, in District 5 and District 2, Dr. Osgood then and Patty Good then said, you will not affect our schools until you give us time to talk to our people. The school board, the schools in District 1, who was then being represented by Ann Murray, didn't have the same level of active participation and advocacy. So they looked at Addicts and Bethune, for example, a Black school conglomerate, where an elementary school next to a middle school, and just assumed they can go ahead and merge those and close that. Where you're right at is that that's one of those situations where at Addicts Middle School, they had a whole building waiting to be repaired. And so they could never fill their seats until that building got filled. But where you're wrong at is that was a strong example of when you don't have a strong school board member advocating for your schools. They had Addicts and Bethune on the menu until Tamara James and myself, the only two elected officials who even bothered to come to the community meeting, showed up, and we joined the parents who showed up, and we pushed back against them. That's what happened. But the reason that happened, and it didn't happen in 2020, was because there were strong school board members who said, you would not do this to my area. What I'm telling you is that the person who replaced Dr. Osgood of District 5, Dr. Holders, has still been doing that the whole time. So yes, you may observe issues across Broward County Public Schools, sir, but I strongly disagree with you that our District 5 representative needs to be changed because he's been involved with our community. He's been saying, no, don't touch our schools. He's been saying, give me time to talk about some schools before you touch our schools. He's been doing just that.
Well, that's your side of the story.
That's fact.
And that may be your truth, but the communities I speak to tell me he only
Pastor Ferguson? Pastor Ferguson, you still with us? You okay?
No, this is important. Oh, there
You
you
still, you still with us, Pastor? Okay.
I'm with you. But now, like I say this, here's the bottom line. We need a person that is going to be vocal to stand up with our community to advocate for our schools. Yes, Parkway Middle School is still not completed, and it's been about 3 or 4 years. All right. And so we still have issues. We still have some schools. Matter of fact, when I had a talk with the former principal, she was trying to get them to come back and put up a fence that construction knocked down, that they're trying to make things safe for the school. Now, whether or not Jeff talked about that, I can't say I know. I wasn't there. But here's what I'm saying. Things did not happen. And the community, St. George community, is to a point where they just kind of like throwing their hands in, oh, they're going to close this school. Oh, well, how long is this going to be an eyesore in our community?
And Pastor Ferguson, can you give us, because you're saying a lot of things that are the issues. I would like to know like some specific things that you would do to be able to address that. So for the example, a Parkway Middle that you just said, you said it's been under construction for the last 3 or 4 years. What would you specifically, if elected, do to be able to get the school to be completed?
What we need to do, there should already be money allocated for this. We need to push and hold these construction companies accountable. Everything that they've been pushing back, we're doing other renovation projects, and they're putting our schools on hold. That needs to stop. That needs to stop. I think they need to make this facility looks better before they put new turf that they got allocated money for on these football fields. And I'm all about not trying to have our athletes hurt. Yes, all that's true. But we need to look at the timeline of this project and how things go. What is the issue? Are we waiting on equipment? Are we waiting on material? See, none of that is being communicated to the community. But what they did, they walked in there and showed us a plan to have it done by a certain time, which Dr. Holness, he did a great job. I'm going to give him his props. He had the timeline moved up 2 years. Oh, that's great. But they tried to give us smoke and mirrors. They came in with the plan that they showed us 2 years ago. And so what begins to happen, the community now loses trust with all of those people in charge. So what I would like to do is have that open dialogue between the board, between staff and the community, to let them know this is where we're at, this is what's going on, because knowledge is power. This is what's going on. We need to move this up. Our problem is we're not holding the construction companies accountable. We should have the money already there. We're not holding them to any deadline. When I worked at manager for public supermarket, we gave them alternatives like, listen, if you can complete this building in 9 months, you get a bonus. But every time you're late, then we take money off the table. And they understood that, and they got the job done, because if they finished early, there was also incentive pay. Now, Publix was able to do that. I'm not saying Broward County School Board has the money to do that, but we have the power to apply more pressure than what we're doing. And I'm concerned about it because here's reality. I have 6 grandchildren that attend schools in District 5. And one of them is at Parkway Middle School. Walking through rubble, puddles when it rains. I don't see that happening out west. I see it happening out east. You know, they just leveled and they got the money for it. Marjorie Stoney Dulles, they just had the money for that and they took care of it. What happened to being good stewards over the money that we have been given to take care of the schools in our community?
All right.
So this is where I'm gonna
we can talk all night, so I don't want to go over my time.
No, this is good. One of the
I mean, at this point, we on the line, so it's all good.
One of the rewards of you being brave enough to come on is that you get to state your case. right? And that other people who are too scared to respond to Facebook posts and what have you don't get this chance. So only you get this chance. But let me just educate you on some things that I think you may be a little bit off with. So the school board bond program is actually managed by a private company, AECOM, right? That company is the program manager owner's representative. They're responsible for the budgeting, the scheduling, the procurement, the assigning, the project management of all of the projects for all of the 270 some odd schools. You're aware of that?
All right, so let me stop you right. Let me can I just put a pin right there, because maybe you could help educate me.
Yes, sir.
Because this how I think. Okay, so they're the managing company. They're taking care of budget. They're doing all of that.
Yes,
then
sir.
We need to put pressure on them.
Okay, there we go. There we go. Now walk with me for a second. I like this.
All right, now.
Walk with me for a second, because I think what's happening is you have an observation. Parents have an observation. Teachers have an observation of things that need to be improved. But what ends up happening, as is happening in this campaign, is that you blame the wrong people. Whether you blame the people who've been trying to fix the issue versus the people who actually caused it in the first place. So let's talk about AECOM as the program manager owner's representative. We know that they're the program manager owner's representative because in 2022, they went through a solicitation process where they applied and they were chosen. I know that because I sat on the evaluation committee. I was one of the 11 people in the room who evaluated their application and who actually voted for them, right? But they've been highly disappointing as the program manager because they have been derelict in making sure that the budgets for the projects were accurate. They have been obstructive in making sure that the subcontractor who's supposed to be helping to manage these projects have the resources they have. Which is I'm going to talk about later on, but I might not have time now. But when I come back, I'm going to talk about the fact that they tried to steal $5 million from Black businesses, mostly Black businesses, and taking away their earning capacity while at the same time hamstringing their ability to do the work. So a lot of what we see is not progress in our schools, has nothing to do with the school board representative. It has to do with the program manager owner's rep who's being managed by staff who report to the superintendent, who report to the full board. And all the board can do is act upon the information that they have. Now, are you aware that there are two places where anybody in Broward County can go online and see exactly where their particular school is in the construction process, what has been reported has been done for the school, what is coming up, and then so that will be the bond, that would be the tax bond section of the smart news section of Broward County Public Schools website. There's also a tax watch, an independent firm out of Tallahassee who reports to the bond oversight committee, who I used to be on, but I resigned because I thought it was I was disappointed with the way in which the progress of schools were going, and I was disappointed with the little bit of participation that Black contractors were getting. So I resigned from the bond oversight. But Tax Watch publishes reports every quarter that any of us can go and look at right now. And if you really want to know what's happening on Parkway or any school in District 5, you can either go to Smart News on the school board website or Tax Watch and look at the reports. What I'm saying, sir, is that I agree with you. I think that there are parts of the way in which this system works that are raggedy, that are ineffective, and that create these ongoing problems. What I disagree with you is that some of those same people you name could be blamed for some of these problems. So,
all right, so
what I'm saying.
You want to address that,
so
Pastor
here's what I'm saying to you, Brian. I believe the buck stops with the school board members. Okay, we hired them, and preferably we entered into a contract that we can get out of, because here's reality: they got us hijacked in a time place. And this is something that I talked about on my platform, that we need to do better in getting our contracts. As you can see, our contracts with our superintendents, multiple superintendents that we end up paying out. We paying out too much money to superintendents and things of that to that extent. Our exit clause need to be more in our favor as a school board versus the construction companies or the people with the smart money having full control. Because now, as you're stating, They're the one dropping the ball. And who are we looking at? We're looking at the school board. We're looking at the school board members and everything. We should need to get with our lawyer and see what we do to get rid of them, because as you said, they're hurting our minority businesses, okay? And they're hurting us as a people. We need to do our homework better. Let's get a group, make sure the contract states they can finish this project within a certain amount of time. If not, we have the right to step out of that contract without any penalties to us. So sometimes we have entered into agreements that's not in favor for us as a school board. And that may be the problem that we're having with a lot of our schools not being done. My problem is I only see it happening in the minority areas.
And all I want to say is, for those who are watching, I want you to go to Broward Public Schools website. I want you to go to meetings and agenda. And in the search bar, I want you to put AECOM, AECOM, contract renewal. I want you to take a look at each time that the contract has come up for renewed, who were the advocates trying to hold AECOM accountable, and who were the ones who were trying to defend them. Now, I just noticed that my friend Tori
Alston is okay.
Yeah, bring him in too, because there's
people
going to be
they sending text messages.
No, I think you need to bring Tori on, because I'm gonna make a point. I'm gonna make the point that
Tori,
one of the people,
Tori, I'm gonna send you a link. I'm gonna try to figure out how to send you the link, Tori.
Yeah, one of the people who tried to cover for AECOM was sitting next to you, sir, at that Moms for Liberty thing, Daniel Fogenholly. One of the people who helped to usher a reasonable, even though we didn't get everything we wanted, and that solution still gave AECOM a little bit of a chance to try to steal money in the future. But I'm going to give Tori Alston credit, because Tori Alston was one of the school board members who disagreed with his normal ally, Fogenholly, and made sure that he joined Jeff Holdens and the rest of in holding AECOM accountable. So my point to you is that there's a lot of moving pieces that go along with being a school board member. And you can't just say, let's eliminate the good and replace it with people who are not as knowledgeable about these moving pieces, because we run the risk of going backwards. I'm saying that we've made progress. There are places, absolutely. We've had 5 damn superintendents in 8 years. Yes, we are dysfunctional. We absolutely know we're dysfunctional. But what I'm saying is that part of getting rid of chaos and creating a stability that would allow us to improve starts with keeping the good, getting rid of the bad, and making sure that those who are left can work together for good. And that's what we're trying to do.
I love it. Look, you, Brian, they are sending the text messages to the people you associating with Moms for Liberty, and the people are saying, "Let me talk my talk," and I appreciate it. Pastor Ferguson, before we bring Tori on, I would like to just give you some final thoughts before we, let you go. But again, please come back to Hollow News. Let us know if you have information that needs to go out to the community. But I want to give you this final word. And also, too, I want to thank you for jumping in the hot seat, because coming on live and doing that is not always easy. Some candidates run from it. A lot of them run from it. So I appreciate you for coming on and rocking with us tonight with Hollow News. But I'd like to give you some final thoughts before we let you go.
All right. Thank you for one. Thank you for allowing me to come in and speak my truth. Much respect for all of you on the line. Again, though, we do need to look at some things. There needs to be some changes. I understand what Brian is saying. Let's not take a chance to move back by bringing in somebody new. But you might also have the possibility to move forward because you're bringing in somebody new. Nobody's saying Jeff's not doing the job and this and that. But what we are saying, what I am saying, what my platform is saying, it's time for a change. It's time for us to save our children, to save our seed, and do a better job in trying to make sure our children have equitable results that everybody else in the county is getting. It's time for me to be an advocate for this community. Let their voices be heard more so in the forefront than in the rear.
Gotcha. And Pastor Ferguson, the district that you're running from, name it and let people know what area that covers.
I am running for school board member District 5, which encompasses all of Lauderdale, Lauderdale Lakes. It covers parts of Fort Lauderdale, parts of Sunrise, parts of Plantation, parts of Tamarack, parts of the city of Oakland Park.
Gotcha. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for coming on,
And,
Pastor Ferguson.
here's the bottom line. We need to get out and vote. As a
Yes, that
people,
part.
early voting already has started, and this is one of the slowest turnouts that they are reporting. But we need to get out and vote. We need to get involved. And our primary election starts on August 20th. Please, let's get out and vote. Let's get involved with everything that's going on. And definitely for our new president, we need to get out and vote.
Mm.
Thank you, sir. Thank Janae. Thank you for allowing him to come on. I think that was good, and you
No,
get the benefit.
I appreciate it. And well, thank you, Pastor Ferguson. We'll see. Like I said, keep Hollow News, follow us, learn about us. We're a platform for Black and Brown millennials here in South Florida. So thank you for coming on and sharing your information with our audience who are voters in Dade and Broward County.
All right. Someone told me to tell you hi. Jenny Rainey told me to tell you hi.
Who, me?
Yes, you.
What's her name?
Jenny, ladies of Alpha and
Jenny?
Omega. Jenny,
Oh, hey.
okay.
What's
Y'all went to
up?
high school together, I think she said.
Jenny Rain?
Yes. I think her last
Yeah,
name used to be Jenny Johnson. Jocelyn. Jenny Jocelyn.
Jenny Jocelyn at Northwestern of Carroll City.
Carroll City.
Carroll City. Okay. The name is ringing a bell. Tell her I said hey, and like I said, thank you for coming on, and we'll wait for Tori to join the line. You guys have a good evening.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Janae, I
Woo!
want to say again, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I gotta catch my breath. My edges is
I
growing back in.
thought this how it's
Tori,
supposed to be.
when Tori said, let me join the line, when Pastor Ferguson said, let me join the line, I said, oh my gosh, Tori, I sent something to this page that you just put, how do I join? I DM'd you. So you may need to look in your messages because we're not Facebook friends. It may be like in a different inbox. Also too, I'll put the link here again in the comment section. If you're watching on our Facebook like page or our YouTube page, you could copy and paste that link and it'll allow you to get on. Hey, oh, Jenny. I ain't know. Now I know who we talk about. Hey, Jenny girl. Hey, what's up? Yes,
Janae,
Zakia, it's hot tonight.
while we're waiting on Tori to jump on, let me say this. Part of what you have to do as an advocate is you have to make sure that you are stepping outside yourself and focusing on the shortest distance between where we are and where we need to be. And I'm saying to you, as I said before Pastor came on, and I'm going to say again, good people are not necessarily good elected officials and definitely not good people for a position that has very complex capabilities. I think he's a good man. I just don't think he's ready to be a school board member. And one of the things I know for sure is that when it's time for us as advocates, people who put our lives and reputation on the line, even being investigated, because people say we must be fighting hard because we're getting a kickback, right? So when we put our lives and our livelihoods and reputation on the line to fight for Black people, what we have to do is we have to know that of the 9 people sitting up there, who are the people who we can count on as allies. What I'm saying to you is that all throughout the last 4 years, 2 years, because he's only been up there for 2 years of Holdness, all throughout the last 2 years since he's been there, Dr. Holdness has been the person that we call first, because we know that he has been identified as the person. Now we have 2 Black males. One of them is going to be joining us soon, Tori Austin.
Yeah, Tori, I'm putting it. How about this? I'm gonna put the link on your very recent post. I think you posted it. It says keep Tori Austin for school board. You posted it 13 hours ago. So I just put the link there. Let's see if you see it there. Because I sent it to your DM, but I just put it on one of your Facebook posts on your page, the exact page that you're commenting from. I just posted it there. So let us know if you're still having issues with it. But
Now I just want to finish making a point so that people will understand what they're seeing when they see my passion and what it is that I'm saying.
No,
that
definitely.
in order for me to get things done for Black kids who we serve, for Black families who send those and entrust those kids to us, for Black communities where those children live, for Black schools who try to educate, for Black teachers who's responsible for educating those kids while at the same time not getting the resources they need, for Black principals. In order for us to step up and be effective advocates, we have to know that there are certain people who believe what we believe, who feel what we feel, and who know how to get what we want done. And I'm saying to you that it is not intelligent political strategy to eliminate the people who are already working for us for a bunch of unknowns. It just doesn't make sense. Now, if somebody will want to prepare new people so that if they happen to be elected, they are ready to take the ball from where those old people were and take us further, that's different. But you can't tell me that we have in all 5 of those races that again, Tory's going to come. Well, Tory's an incumbent, but I'm going to say those other 4. So those other 4 races, I can assure you that in those 4 races, well, I'm sorry, let's say 3, because one of those incumbents need to go. Fogelholler needs to go. But the other 3 who are trying to get rid of the incumbents, in every single case, if you get rid of the people who are there, we're going to go backwards. I can assure you of that, because I'm the one who's making phone calls to those people when there's an issue with Black children, when there's an issue with our schools, when there's an issue with our Black businesses. I make the phone calls to people. I know who I can count on, who can say, hey, look, not sure if you know, but we have a problem with this particular item. Again, go to the school board website, go to meetings and agenda, search AECOM, AECOM, contract renewal. Watch the meeting and see who are the people trying to help them steal money from Black businesses and who are the people who intervened. Don't believe what they say, believe what they do.
That part. And while we're waiting for Tory to come on, I want to be able to switch gears just a little bit. And when Tory come on, I want to be able to have him talk about his appearance at the Moms for Liberty event. He didn't go. But I want to talk about these.
I got to correct you, Janae, because remember I said earlier, I bet my left kidney that Tory Austin didn't show up on purpose, because Tory
so he's on this. He's on
the flight, but he didn't go. He's the one who didn't go. He didn't show up.
Okay.
Because Tory has better sense not to affiliate himself with people like that. They claim him too, and I want to ask him why they claim him. And I want to ask him, even as my friend, did you do a denouncement? Did you tell them you don't belong to them? And what have you done to assure the rest of us that they won't influence you? Again, I want to file a disclaimer. Tory has been my friend since we were at the Boys and Girls. We were just at the Boys and Girls Club. We've been different political spectrum for a while. We've been purple and red and blue in all of our adult lives. So we've always disagreed on party, but we've often agreed on how to make sure that Black people get stuff done. I want you to bring Tory on, because
Tory, I hope he get the link. We sent it 3-4 times. So Tory, let us know if you got that link. But while we waiting on him, I want to get into this conversation about these Black pastors in Broward County who have been supporting these school board candidates. And do they know the affiliation with the Moms for Liberty Project 2025 Republican Right-Wing Association? Can you give us a little breakdown on these Black pastors that I've been hearing about in the streets who've been doing some problematic support?
So I think what you are referring to is there's a group of pastors in Southern Broward County who operate under the banner Bless Broward. And that group has put out a slate card. Well, they were the South Broward Ministerial Alliance first, but they operate on the Bless Broward. They recently put out a group of endorsements that created some concern for a lot of us as advocates, because they, in spite of the evidence, and I'm going to focus on the one who's supposed to be representing us, District 1, in spite of all the evidence that not only is he inexperienced, not only has he been an agent for chaos, but he doesn't even damn it live here. And yet that particular group of pastors, and on top of that, he's been the most openly loyal to Ron DeSantis. So even Tory, when Tory comes on, has enough sense, as being somebody who's been favored by DeSantis himself, to be able to say, I'm my own man. I can make my own decision. This other guy, though, feeds off of that relationship. And yet, in spite of all the evidence, here's some other evidence. Go keep scrolling until you get to school board and Daniel Fogelholler while we're waiting on Tory to come on. Here's some other things to consider. Not only does he not live here, he's 30 miles away from this district, living in Coral Springs, representing South Broward County, because he was appointed by DeSantis twice. Doesn't even have a college degree that we can confirm. You're a school board
What?
member who doesn't have a college degree. He's never had a education related job that we can confirm. And on top of that, there are specific things that he's done as a school board member that is extremely concerning, including voting against teacher raises, including trying to have the attorney for the school board fired because she defended the school district against the charter schools suing them for money. So that's abuse and trying to abuse that relationship that you have with Tallahassee, and bringing your abusive daddy into Broward County to try to help make or replace an attorney because she happens to defend the district against another effort to defund traditional public schools.
Who is that problematic candidate that Bless Broward is supporting? I was trying to find their flyer on their page.
His
What's
name
the
is
name?
Hogan Holly. Go back to that blue file. He's the first person.
But I don't see a endorsement flyer for him on their
It's on
page.
Bless Broward. It's there.
Oh, I'm here on the page. So that's what I'm trying to.
They've posted those endorsements a couple of times. They the most recent one I believe was recently. Go to that.
No, I'm just saying you see it in here because
I don't know if it's in their pictures, but go
is
to
this him?
That's him. That's him. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. So Bless Broward.
You appointed twice, never got a vote out of this district. You live in Coral Springs, representing Southern Broward County. You help or try to support a major company stealing money from Black businesses. You are identified as a Moms for Liberty candidate, and they banned books all over the place. You also have sowed seeds of chaos. Just go to Sun Sentinel and just search his name.
And give the people just some context on who Bless Broward is. Who is the leader of this organization? Who founded it? Like who's a part of this organization?
Bless Broward is a group of pastors from Southern Broward County. There's one who's in Pompano, but primarily Southern Broward. As I said before, they have operated under the name of South Broward Ministerial Alliance, and they have endeavored to provide their parishioners with suggestions and recommendations on elections. I can tell you that I strongly agree with that particular endorsement of Hogan Holly for the reason that I'm laying out now. An inexperienced, low qualified, absentee landlord for our district, and yet they still decided to look at him and say, we'll propose him. I want to know why. I want to know why amongst those Black pastors, what was it about him? Knowing everything I'm saying, you can fact check. You can Google his name. You can Google the articles in Sun Sentinel. You can Google Mara Bowman, who I'm supporting, and look at the Sun Sentinel, who looked at all three of the candidates in that race, including him as the person who's incumbent, and said, nah, we don't think he should stay. We should go with Mara Bowman. There's a reason that they went with that. And they document that in their endorsement. And so you have this particular candidate with all of these negatives still being recommended to Black people by Black pastors. I have no idea why. I would like to know from one of them why. Now, I would say that
the way the people is sending the text to the candidates, somebody send a text to the Bless Broward pastors, the Black pastors, and tell them to get on the line and come join the conversation.
Let me give one of them a shout out. In fact, Pastor Michael Anderson, who's one of those pastors.
Tori in the backstage, y'all.
There it is. Let me say that Tori come in. Pastor Michael Anderson, who's a member and a participant of Bless Broward, who was there, he himself was disappointed in this particular. And there's a video that he put up, 2 different videos saying why. So I'm not here to try to disparage the intent or the integrity of the people involved. I just find this recommendation highly questionable with all the evidence that suggests that somebody different, in fact, specifically Mara Bowman, Bulman, is a much better candidate, who's the only person who's lived here 20 years. He doesn't live here, and the other candidate just moved here 6 months ago.
It's definitely questionable, especially the affiliation, like I said, to anything to Project 2025 and the extreme right wing of the Republican Party. It's just interesting that to me is given the Bless Broward pastors, Black pastors didn't do enough homework, or they're it just seems a little shady. So I would love for somebody to come on and clear the air, be like Pastor Ferguson, speak your truth, talk your talk, but let us know, given all we know about, this candidate, and that has been put out there, why why would the blessed Broward black pastors still support him? Those are questions that need answers. Y'all running up the line, tell the black pastors to get on the line with us too, because we need an answer. Tori, I don't see your camera on, so or just let us know when you're ready to come on. You could put in the private chat when you're ready to come on, so we could bring you on the stage. Man, this has been an amazing conversation. Um, Brian, who knew?
No, this
Okay,
is good. Janae, this
wait.
is good.
This is good. Wait, let me see. Tori, are you staying off camera right now? Okay, we got you. We got you on, Tori. You're here live on the show.
Excellent.
Thank you for
Can you
coming
hear me?
on High Low News. Can we talk podcast? This is our special Broward election editions. Your name has been came up in the conversation. I don't know if you can hear us right now, but
Can you hear me, Janae? Yes or
There's a
no?
lot of noise.
All
There's
right.
a lot of
yes.
noise.
Sorry. Hold on a second. I'm driving, having
But can
left
you?
having left a candidate forum. So hold on a second.
Oh,
Let me see.
oh
Hey,
wow.
let
Hold on
me
a second.
address that comment that you're showing there, Janae. Sandra, I agree with you. I'm not a fan of Sun Sentinel either. If you Google my name, you'll notice that they've lied about me a couple of times and had to retract it. Each time they lied about me is when I was advocating for black businesses. But in this particular case, I think they got that particular. I think they got all of their endorsements right. Just read them though. Just read the endorsements. Read the information that they provided. I just think that this time around, they were more right than not. I agree. I'm not a Sun Sentinel fan. It's the reason why I don't even subscribe to them. I wouldn't even take the 1 penny for 30-day deal because I don't want to give them a damn dime. But they got these right.
Look, let's let Tori come to
Let's
the
try this.
conversation.
Let's try this again. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Tori. Can you hear us? Tori, can you hear us?
Tori.
Uh, maybe you because you're in the car, maybe a little you know, a little shaky there. I got a picture up of you, so when you're ready to come on, just let us know, okay, Tori? All right, we're gonna give Tori a little bit of give a little bit of time. Tori, let us know in the private chat if you can. Um, or if you can let us know audio wise if you're good. Oh, this is man, Tori, I wanted you to come on the show. Okay, we gonna give you a little bit to get your audio and everything. How about this, Tori? Yeah, I was gonna say tell them to come out and come back in. And just for anybody just wondering who that was gonna be on the show, Tori just hopped on the line with us. So while we get allow him to figure out what's going on with his audio and everything, we'll give him another chance to come back. But Brian. So we
Janae.
doing this again because you got my live. I ain't never had my live jumping like this. I ain't never. You made a pass to come out and said, "Who wants some?" You made Tori
No,
say,
no,
"Give me the
no,
link."
no. I think this is healthy because what's the
No, it
real
is.
problem
It's
is, which
really
is
good.
why
It's
you
really
and I
good.
decided to do this, is that when we did our podcast some weeks ago.
The
Um,
That Part podcast, the show with Papa Keith, gotta give our show a little
Yeah,
plug.
Jasmine made a point that even when black folk who have not been voting and young people who are not enjoying the process want to, it's hard for them to find the right information to make an educated decision. And if you recall, I was very adamant that we got to go from electing people to selecting people, that we got to make sure that we're evaluating criteria and make sure that the person whose name we bubble in, we believe with all the information we have is the best person to do the job that we're bubbling their names for. And so that's why when you have advocates like me who depend upon allies, I can't say that I have 9 allies. In fact, I used to be able to say that throughout all that drama associated with Marjorie Stoneman Douglas and all that drama of the Parkland parents and coming after Runcie and all that stuff, and people know I was a high profile ally of Runcie, the one thing that we almost always got unanimous support on was the Minority Supply Diversity Outreach Program that I helped write. So that means that there was a time that all 9 school board members were supportive of procurement policies that had active and passive discrimination, that had Black people receiving 2.9% of contracts when they should be at 15%. And yet here we are now, having been distracted by having superintendents being pulled and all kinds of chaos on the dais. And here we are now, that was 2015, 9 years later. They're celebrating having 4.8% Black participation. So they're saying we went from 2.9 to 4.8, and they're clapping like we're supposed to be happy. We're supposed to be at 15. Hispanics are overutilized in this Broward County public school system. And so if I'm telling y'all that my way of expressing concerns and getting things done that help Black children, Black schools, Black communities, Black businesses is through allies who understand, who have the same heart, the same mind, who understand what we're trying to do and understand how to work through the system to get the result. I'm telling y'all that it's very important that we keep those people in place.
Thank you. Thank you for breaking that down, Brian. We got Tori back on the line. I have his picture on the screen because he doesn't he's driving, so for safety reasons, he doesn't have his camera on. Tori,
can you hear
us?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Perfect.
we can hear
All
you.
right.
Can you hear us?
I can. I'll be pulling over in like 2 minutes. So I'm
Okay.
happy to join the conversation because I was told that unfortunately my name has come up, which I'm surprised about, but I'm
No, don't be surprised.
I'm happy to join the conversation.
Oh yeah, your name got called up. We had a flyer with the Moms for Liberty. Brian said you didn't show up, so he definitely clarified that. But we definitely wanted you to come on to join the conversation about
well, let's back up because I actually
Yeah.
I didn't hear any of the prior show. So first, good evening. Thank you for having me. I think someone said that I was invited, but I was not invited. I'm happy to join any conversation. As I just left a forum in District 2 that was very clear in my race as the incumbent school board member against a challenger who is not qualified and who does not have the same level of experience. So let's start there as a starting place. And I'm happy to answer any question from you.
Here's the super starting place. Let us know who you are, where you from, and what you represent. We did that with Pastor Ferguson, so we'll start off with you that way too.
I'm gonna let Brian smile. I should let Brian do the introduction. but no, look, I am born and raised in Broward. I have been here all of my life. I'm the son of a deceased law enforcement officer who spent nearly 25 years with the Broward Sheriff's Office. So I was riding around District 2 as a 2-year-old. So I know what District 2 looks like because it didn't look like that when I was a kid. I'm the son also of a social worker who spent almost 40 years with the Broward Health System, or as we now, or some used to call the North Broward Hospital District, where she spent a lot of her time in what we now call the 7th Avenue Clinic or the Cora Brainin facility, as many in our community know very, very well, the Brainin family. So I am no stranger to Broward. I'm no stranger to our community. I'm proud to have served in many different capacities. And I think and I know I've been in and out in terms of service, but let's talk about service. Because for me, service didn't just start 3 years ago. I didn't move here 3 years ago. I've been here all my life. So whether that was 20 years ago, as Brian knows, and I think I heard some of this conversation, I was a practitioner supporting and pushing and fighting for small minority and Black businesses from the state level from then Governor Christ. So I have done this, and I think I'm the only person on the board who has done this and has a track record of spending billions of dollars with folks, whether in Tallahassee, whether when I did working for Alberto Carvalho as the only person in my race who has K-12 experience. I'm the only person in my race who has district administrative experience, having done it there, where I can point to at least 20 plus Black businesses that I, along with others, but I'll take under my leadership, are responsible for making millionaires. So we want to talk about how we, track success. I've done it. let's continue going and talk about more. I have been on the Florida A&M University Board of Trustees. I'm a proud Rattler.
Okay,
I
fam, you
am
in the house?
120%. There are many Rattlers and alum who are supporting me. Rattlers for Tory. But separate from that, my track record is clear.
Mm. And
Let me let,
just to let the record show, it wasn't like a formal invite. It's like as we're talking and have this
Veteran Business
conversation, we were
Program.
like, anybody can come
uh-oh.
onto the platform. So I just wanted to, just let that be clear. Like we didn't send Tory a formal invite where he had notice and he denied the invite. So I just want that to be clear.
So let me go
Got it.
back a little bit, Tori, because the part that you missed.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can
we
hear
can
you.
hear
Can you
you.
hear
I'm
us?
sorry. I
Can
think
you
I
hear
went
us?
out. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Yep.
All right. So what Janae just clarified is this is a conversation between Janae and I, where we decided to go live to talk about some of the challenges and sometimes foolishness that's happening with elections. One of my issues, as you well know, is the Moms for Liberty candidates thing. So we're going to ask you the same question that we asked.
Well, I don't know that's your issue. So, and it shouldn't be an issue. So there's no question I think you need to ask, because I'll just answer a lot of the stupidity that has been pushed, not from you, I'm hoping, because you know me well. So I
So
think it's an insult. No, let me finish. I
Well, that's
think
the
it's an
point when you try to
insult.
let me finish. I was about to compliment you. You may want to let me finish.
Okay, I'll be quiet. Okay. I
There you
wasn't
go.
talking about you. I got to talk about other people, but go ahead.
No, there you go. You might want to let me finish, because one of the things that you missed coming on was me filing a disclaimer. That I said that I bet my left kidney that you did not show up because you're smart enough not to affiliate yourself. But we do want to know what did they see?
But not even that. No, so let's back up. That's what I want to tell you. Yeah. So let's back up even more. I'm with you. Forget about the did not show up. So let's back all the way up. And Miss Janae, you don't know me well, right? I'm gonna answer your question.
I'm learning it, I like it. I like this energy.
I
Come on,
like
Tory.
being in the hot seat. It's 9 o'clock, and I told my kids I'm in a parking lot 2 miles away, but I got to do this, so I'm gonna do it. Okay. So let's back all the way up. I am in a race where, and it's a nonpartisan race, Janae. But I heard some of your comments. But let's back up. There are 30 elected officials who have publicly come out for me. Okay. There have been some who have been told, stay quiet. Do not so openly support Tory, although we know you know him, although we know he's the most qualified in this race, although we know he has been fighting for our issues for the last 2 years, although he has supported 2 Black interim superintendents who also happen to be the most qualified when others did not, although he currently supported our permanent superintendent, right? Although we still want someone else that we can control. Okay, let's be clear. All right. There have been several elected officials, and I appreciate, and I don't have to call the names, but I appreciate Robert McKenzie, my friend, county commissioner, Democrat. I appreciate Hazel Rogers, my friend, county commissioner, Democrat. I also appreciate my friend, city commissioner Max Chambers in Miramar. And I could keep going on. Let me go on the Republican side, right? Tom Fabrizio, who's a former state rep that covered the Miramar area. And I could go on both sides of the aisle. Forget that the PBA, FOP, principals, and assistant principals supported me. They've done it all because, Janae, and to the listening audience, I've been consistent. I will ask the tough questions. I will put people in the hot seat. And I've done that for 2 years. Now let me get back to the start of it. Everyone knows what happened with this Moms for Liberty piece. So did the scum
Everyone
Sentinel.
doesn't know.
Well, I'm talking. I'm going through it. So does the scum Sentinel, right? That Brian, I think you also alluded to.
Wait, did you say the scum Sentinel?
I sure did. SCUM
all right
for the listening audience.
All right now.
Okay.
All right.
So the scum Sentinel, which has a record of joining forces quietly behind the scenes, but it's not so quiet. So Janae, let's be clear. For the last 3 weeks, there's a race for sheriff on the ballot. There's a race for tax collector on the ballot. But who have you read the most about in the last 30 days in Broward County? Okay. It's been a coordinated, clear attack from some very clear reporters who are not our friends, number one. It's been a very clear, coordinated attack from groups that are not friends of the Black community, number two. And it's been a clear, coordinated attack from some elected officials and public officials who claim to have the best interests of the Black community, and they do not. Okay. So let me be very clear. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I know Broward. I know District 2. That's why I have universal support. So back to the question.
You have to pause
I
at
did
some
not
point.
go to Moms for Liberty. I'm sorry. Go
I
ahead.
said
I'm
you have
sorry,
to pause at some point. Because remember, you interrupted me when I was trying to give my disclaimer. So
oh, I'm sorry. I'm done.
pause
I'm
at some point.
done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm pausing.
No, because we
I'm
want you to
pausing.
come back, but I think it's important just so we can connect the dots between how we got here and where we are, so you can catch up. Because what you're doing is you're speaking to a defense which is pertinent to this conversation. But this conversation before you came on included acknowledgement that you did not go. Included acknowledgement that you have been a friend of mine since we were jits in the Boys and Girls Club. Included giving you credit for the fact that when you were working in the Department of Transportation as a state, you did things for my city when I was vice mayor that we had been trying to get done for many, many years. Included acknowledgement and credit before you got on. I said that that Tory is going to be a little bit different as we had this conversation because of the 9 people on that board. When it's time to advocate for Black people, you happen to be one who I call. So we're not hiding any of that in the discussion. We're being very, very open about this. What we want to know from you, and I'm going to get to it in a few minutes, we want to know what is it about you that attracts you to Moms for Liberty, and where is your denouncement of their Confederate cheerleading program, and them assuming that you're going to carry that on. Brian, so I just wanted you to know that
your premise is wrong, Brian.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, you got it. I'm just trying to give you context so that when as you speak, you're speaking within the context that existed before you came, because you said you didn't hear this. So I want to make sure we repeat what we said.
I did not.
So that we go through.
I did not. Your premise is wrong. That's number one.
Okay,
number
so
two,
you're going to correct.
Moms for Liberty. Let's be clear, right? What you and the Scum Sentinel saw. Okay, there was a flyer created.
Yes, sir.
That Moms for Liberty, their own independent group, created. I can't speak for any other candidate, but I did not give the Moms for Liberty or anyone permission to list me as a guest, a speaker, whatever was listed as. That's point number one. Okay. Number two, the Scum Sentinel and others, and I'm assuming, I'm hoping you weren't a part of it, have been saying that it was an endorsement. Moms for Liberty didn't endorse anybody. They didn't endorse me. Right. It's just I've heard all the craziness from folks who don't want to talk about the issues, Brian. Okay. And you know them very well. And everybody else, Janae, you're going to hear them as well. We got 2 Black men serving on the school board. Okay. And we want to spend 99% of the time asking me a silly question that I know Brian knows the answer to and the community knows the answer to, when we really should be talking about, just as the county commissioner is about to get 3 qualified commissioners who happen to be Black come November, praise God. Why aren't we saying the same thing with the school board? So let's not make this, partisan, because folks want to take it there. And I get that. That's the best you got, right? But bring the fight on. I welcome it.
So, Tori,
I want to be very, go ahead, Brian. Yep.
Yeah. Again, I think you may want to let me lead because I'm trying to help within the context of the conversation, because I made some very specific declarations that I want to stand on and I want to bring you into so that you can speak to. So my very specific declaration said that amongst a part of the facts of my relationship with Tori Austin is the fact that we've been friends since we were jits, the fact that while we've been on opposite sides, you've been red and me being blue.
We've been on the same side. We share issues.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta let me, you're messing up my punchline, brother. Hold on, let me finish. Man. Hold your mule for a minute. We have this thing that when you do dumb stuff, I call you and cuss you out, and you are patient enough to say, okay, Brian, I heard you. Now let me tell you what I did do. So you and I have, and we're playing this out in public because I want people to see this. To your
That's
I
question,
know. I
right.
feel
Wait,
like I'm
you
sitting at
haven't called
the
me.
table at the dining
You
room
haven't called
table
me.
with y'all.
hold on. This
You
is
haven't
good.
called me.
So this is good. So when you do stuff, this is our relationship. So I said earlier on, I filed a disclaimer. Tori Austin is going to be different, right? And this is the difference, because you actually have Democrats supporting you, because you actually have people who can testify for good things you've done, and I'm one of them. That you actually have things that you actually done. What you need to clarify, and this is the analogy I gave. If I am shooting at my enemy and my friend gets hit, I want to know why the hell were you standing over there? So in this particular case, there is a clear and present danger in having Moms for Liberty in Broward County. They were one of 100 groups who helped write Project 2025. Hold on a second. I'm making a case, and then I want you to respond.
I got you.
They were one of 100 groups who helped write Project 2025. Their specific part of that agenda is to scandalize public schools, defund public schools, eliminate Black history, and advance this Judeo-Christian school. They supported 166 candidates across the nation, and 2/3 of them have lost. And because people have rejected that, and they have an interest in Broward County, they claimed you as a candidate on their flyer.
No, they didn't.
Say,
no, they didn't.
No, they said, come and meet your school board candidates, is what the flyer said.
Brian. And I've answered this now 3 times in the past. Let me look at the time, 10 minutes. So let's bring this to a close, Brian, because I want to get to the issues, right?
Did you finish your point, Brian? Because I want to give Tori a chance to reply. You finish your point?
No, I just want him to clear the air on the fact that I want to be fair to Pastor Ferguson, because I asked him these questions. I'm going to ask the same question of Tori. Again, file a disclaimer that I know you're going to be different. So I expect that your answer is going to be something that's different than his, because you're more experienced. But you owe it to Black people.
I didn't hear anything.
Well, I just said, but take my word for it. I'm betting right now that you're going to be more sharp than his response, because you're more prepared and qualified than he is. But my point is that
Brian, give him the direct question that you want him to answer.
Question number 1: what is it about you that they saw and said, we want him to come because he aligns with our issues? You can disagree in your answer. Question number 2.
I can't.
Let him answer one question. Yeah.
No, one at a time.
The first question.
Okay. Question number 1. So you want to know how to call?
No. I don't. You're saying. Wait. The question is, what about them?
What is it about you that made the Confederate cheerleaders look at you and say, "We think he aligns with us. Let's invite him"? You can answer that one.
No,
first.
Brian, that's not what that was. That's number 1. Number 2, you know that it was they on their own. Well, I'm telling you. No, listen, I'm telling you, they on their own, which I'm now going to repeat a 4th time, put all candidates for school board. Every group has a forum for school board, but they need to reach out just like every other group does and say, "Hey, Tori Austin, are you coming to this school board forum?" That's what that was. That was a school board forum. The NAACP, let's just call a spade, Brian. They put out a school board forum. I didn't respond to it. They put me on the flyer. I responded the next day. Where was the outrage? I didn't. It's different, right? I'm an NAACP product, right? I'm an NAACP life member, right? But groups do that all the time. The difference in this case is it was political, Brian, and you know that. I had a congressman who we all know, who's my friend, that's my disclaimer, who openly supported me. But when he got calls from many state senators, a few, let me be clear. When he got calls from a member of Congress in this community, let me be clear, and people outside of this community, that I'm sure had the tentacles of pressure points. Okay, let's be very clear. This was all political. Okay, the reason that let me keep going. The reason that there were 1 or 2 others of my friends, 1 or 2 others of my friends who supported me. But when it got tough, they had to pull back, Brian. You know this. Come on. Let's not. And I know everybody's openly watching our conversation. Okay. Mm-hmm. We know what happened. I know what happened. Okay. I know the political folks who openly were with me and then had to pull back and say, man, I can't do it. I can't have this one person cussing me out. Tori, you know I'm with you. I'll send you a check. I'm with you. Come on, right? No, so there were folks in that category, and guess what? I understand. I'm not mad at them. I still appreciate them. But you know who I really appreciate? I appreciate the 30 elected officials who stood their ground and said, I know Tory, I know his track record, and we need him to stay on the school board. That's who I respect. Okay. I respect Pat Williams. This is not for you, Brian. I'm talking to the listening public. I respect the West Side Gazette. Bobby Henry, who I think just said recently, and you all know this. Look, the publisher of the West Side Gazette just openly said that Black Broward needs to support Tori Austin. Why did he say that? Bring him on. Ask him. I think he's told you all publicly.
What did he say?
That's my point. Well, I won't speak for him. He's already written a column about it. And for the last 2 years, Janae, he has told you all, who has been a very clear champion for all of our issues. So I won't paraphrase any of his words, but it's very clear. And everyone knows that. Okay. So I won't let anybody come try to tell our community who should represent us on the school board. I'm not going to allow that to happen.
So Janae, can you put the blue flag back up, please?
I'm not going to allow that to happen.
Okay.
Janae, can you put the blue flag back up, please? Because I want to put this part of the conversation to bed, Tori, because I'm trying to be fair to you.
I want you to answer this this is a comment from Race, and the Race is all things race and politics. If Tori is more qualified, why are you not supporting him?
I never mentioned
you're not supporting me.
No,
and they're asking you, Brian.
Sandra Sheffer asking me this question. How do you know I'm not?
They said, "Are you supporting Tori Austin for?"
Let me say this again slower. Tori Austin has been a friend of mine since we were Jets. Tori Austin and I have collaborated on issues that support the city of West Park. Tori Austin has been an ally that I've called each time when there has been something done. Tori Austin is also somebody who I was called when he's done something that looked like he was supporting something that DeSantis said. And Tori Austin, as I said before, different from his friend, Fogenholly, has been very clear that he can think differently. And I can say publicly that I can testify that in my conversations with Tori Austin, the part that without disclosing the private one, I can testify that Tori Austin has been able to think differently. What I do want Tori Austin to answer, because this is very, very important to answer that question. As I said, if it gets to a point, and Tori and I have had this conversation before, so this is not new to him. Tori has an obligation to make sure that he doesn't allow himself to be used by those Republican Confederates who support him to make it look like he's an agent for them. If he is an independent thinker, Tori Austin has to make sure the public knows that he's an independent thinker. If you allowing people who want to hurt our school district to claim you as if you're theirs, then Tori Austin has to be the person. And that's what he's doing tonight, to make it clear that he's not theirs. But it's still up to me as his friend to say to him in front of y'all, as I've said to him in private, if I shoot at my enemies and you get hit, why the hell are you standing over there?
Tori, I don't know if we still have you there. I know you said you put your hand up. You probably got a phone call. I know that happens when you're on the
and I also said, I hope you hear his part.
Tori, did you hear any of what Brian said?
Kind of. I just moved from the car to outside a restaurant. Go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to give you a chance to respond to some of the things that he said. And I wanted to know if you heard him.
What's the question? Say it one more time.
So some of the things that I said that I think you should respond to is that I said that I've given you credit for the work that we've done together on behalf of Black kids, on behalf of my mostly majority Black city, on behalf of the Black business that I represent. So I have not been shy at all. I've made it clear from the beginning on that blue flyer, somebody is different, and Tori Austin is different because I have a personal relationship with him and he does have a track record. I mentioned earlier that there is a bunch of Democratic people who support him. And it's because they would say the same thing, that despite his allegiances, affiliations, not allegiances, because that we don't want to describe
Yeah,
affiliation, despite his political affiliations, that he
Right.
has the ability to get some things done for our folks. But the part that we want you to respond to, Tori, is that what we got to do is make sure that it is your responsibility, not mine as your friend, to do this for you. But you can't. The question is, if we're going to allow the people who you're affiliated with to make it look like you belong to them, like you are an agent for their mission. Although you say to us in private, you are an independent thinker, and some of us can testify that we've seen that we've seen you think independently. But what you owe to the Black public is the assurance that when they want to make it look like they have an agent in Broward County, that they have members of the school board who they know they can get to and sow seeds of chaos in Broward Public Schools. That when it's time to come down and remove people, attorneys for the school district and other school board members, which, by the way, you're going to answer the question about one of the criticisms about you is you launched an investigation against other school board members. But
Not true.
Okay, got it. I want you to answer that.
Wrong.
I want you to answer that allegation. But
That's
my
wrong.
point is that if it looks like Tallahassee and Republicans, who I call Confederates, because they're not just ideologically different, they have a strong penchant towards white supremacy, which to me is anti-Black, which to me is something I can never agree with.
Ask me the question, Brian, because I'm
Brian,
not
you got to get to the question.
You know I'm not anything you just said. So what's the question?
Take this moment again to make it clear to Black people that the DeSantis, the Moms for Liberty, the Republican operatives who don't have the best interest of our people in mind, but who might want to claim you, declare openly, as you've declared to me, your ability to think independent and the fact and allay any of our concerns that you won't be an agent for their mission.
So I got the floor, Janae, right?
Yes, you got.
Now I'm gonna start with a rhetorical question. Why do I have to do that? The West Side Gazette has already done it. 30 elected officials. Wait. I'm answering the question.
No, Kira, I wanted to say, Kira said, because you were mentioning the West Side Gazette, and she was like, you should know. She was like, that's why we're having this forum, because some of us don't know what the West Side Gazette is.
I'm going. I'm with you. I got
there are
it.
people who are watching here who either don't read it or don't necessarily agree with the West Side Gazette.
Yeah,
of course I agree, because it's about me. Anyway, no. So why should I have to answer that when the West Side Gazette has told you for 2 years all about me? Why should I have to answer that when 30 elected officials have told you all about me? Why should I have to answer that when Congressman Jared Moskowitz did the unthinkable, and then extreme members of the party, activists, let's be clear, okay, who care more about getting someone who's not qualified and taking the board backwards to now having one Black on the school board? Let's be clear, okay? Why do I have to answer that question when the storyline is very clear? When the Scum Sentinel has spent ink on me for 30 days because they want the readers to think, Brian, because you led with this, which is wrong, that I have created chaos for 2 years. You know what kind of chaos I've created? I'm glad the chaos I've created got rid of a superintendent that fired Black administrators. I'm proud of that chaos. I'm proud of the chaos that got Valerie Wanza to be interim superintendent when members on the school board did not want her to, that are in a certain party. That's not mine. Let's not make it partisan.
Tori, you still there? We'll give him a second to come back.
This is good.
This is woo.
Just Janae, I got a follow up to one of his answers, by the way. But I want him to finish his answer.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can get him back. Yeah. People in the comments, I just want the comment section has been live. Thank y'all for the live questions in the comments. Y'all give me a thumbs up or applause or something. Let me know y'all still with us and rocking with us. If it's Brian, no, like before I came on, I was sick. But this has got me all the way up. But we'll let
she's wide awake now because she was real lethargic. So this is
wait, okay, let's let Tori finish.
I'm sorry. I don't know where you were and what you heard, but let's be clear, Brian. Let's be clear, Janae. Let's be clear to the listening audience. We are in the time that we have a school board that is on the line in 7 days. Hey, Dr. Bright, you know me well. The school board is on the line right now. And you all have spent the last 30 minutes of my time. You haven't asked me one question about education.
No,
you haven't
sorry.
asked me. No, wait, no. I would have finished. I'm talking to the public now, right? You have not asked me one question about what has been done in 2 years while you have been on the school board.
I was going to actually ask you that. No,
I
I was going to ask you that question at some point after y'all got past this Moms for Liberty stuff.
I think I ended up talking about Wanza and Smiley that some Democratic members on the school board did not support. Okay, Brian, let's be clear about that. All right. It's election time. So now everybody wants to find the Black Bible. Okay. Enter a Black church that they've never been in. Okay. And want to support Black businesses that they have not supported for the last 6 months. Brian, call a spade a spade. Call those the board members out. No, you call them out. I know who they are. I've been doing it for, let's finish. I've been doing it for 2 years. And for 2 years, yes, I was very clear that there were school board members who got checks. The Scum Sentinel, they verified it, right? They got checks from a union in the middle of union negotiations. I wasn't hiding that. That wasn't an investigation. That's a fact. It's a fact that there were board members sharing information with the union leader that many people are afraid of. I'm not afraid of her. Many people are. Our Black administrators who call me, they're terrified of her. I'm not. The teachers are afraid of her because she's destroying lives, and you all know it, and it's a shame. So yes, I'm glad this is being recorded, and I'm proud that the leader of the BTU did not endorse me because I don't want her support. I want the support of the teachers, who's my best friend, who's watching tonight. I have the support of cafeteria workers and bus drivers and law enforcement professionals. You know why, Brian? And you got me fired up. I haven't even gotten my fish and shrimp. I'll show you where I'm at. My wife is probably going to kill me, okay? I'm fired up. And you know why? Because it's 7 days away, and we are not doing the right thing. And Brian, you know it. You know it. You know me. Janae, you don't know me well, but the listening audience, as they're texting me and my friends are texting me, I have no problem showing up. I just showed up to a forum 2 hours ago against my opponent that the Scum Sentinel endorsed. So I disagree, Brian. No, the Scum Sentinel didn't get it right. She knows nothing about District 2. She knows nothing about minority businesses. She knows nothing about academics.
I was talking about District 1.
Nothing.
I was talking about District 1.
They got I know. Right. I know. Yeah. I'm still talking.
Okay, I just want to make sure you're clear now, because don't change my words.
No, not you. I'm done. No. She knows nothing about the district. She knows nothing about the system. If you ask her a question, she retorts to her same 3 talking points. That's not what we need on the school board, and y'all know it. You need somebody who's qualified, Janae, somebody who's educated, somebody who's independent. I'm going to tell it like it is. And yes, let's be clear. It's a nonpartisan race. I haven't hid that. Brian, folks want me to divorce that Charlie Crist, put me in positions, right? That Governor DeSantis put me in. No, I can't do that. I can't divorce them. Yes, Charlie Crist put me on the FAMU Board of Trustees. I've helped Black families. Call the Rattlers. They'll get on here and text. I won't even say, I was going to say somebody else, but I won't put them on blast. I've helped many Black families with scholarships.
And so, Tori,
all right,
Tori, I want to give you a chance.
But I gotta order my dinner because my wife is gonna kill me because I just sat down.
Well,
we don't be on my way home. So go ahead.
We don't want to get you in trouble, but I wanted to give you. I'm gonna let you order your chicken and fries. But when you get back, give people just some facts on what you've done so far as a school board member. I want to know just some of the things that you've done, to improve the lives of students in Broward County, especially Black students, and what you plan to do if reelected.
So let me also while we're waiting on Tori to come back, we want to be abundantly clear. This was a conversation between Janae and I for the high-low audience to talk about our observations for elections. We never intended for this to be a candidates forum.
Yeah.
While we stated what we believe to be facts, and I want you to put that blue flag back up. One of the things I'm concerned about is Moms for Liberty is Moms for Liberty coming to Broward
We
County.
put that to bed.
Now, hold on a second. You got to let me finish, brother.
Okay.
One of the things I'm concerned about is Moms for Liberty coming to Broward County trying to expand their Confederate agenda in this Democratic or this liberal or this majority minority county.
Majority Broward.
Tori, you gotta pause for a second.
No, but it's actually his turn to talk because I was asking him because he may have to run soon, but I wanted to give him a chance to talk about his platform, things that he's done to improve the lives of students, especially Black students in Broward County, and what you plan to do if reelected. So I want to give you that opportunity to break that down for the audience. Because a lot of us, I'm more Dade facing, so I don't know a lot of the Broward situation. I'm a Miami artist girl, Carroll City girl, born and raised, but we are interested in what happens in South Florida as a whole. So a lot of our audience is new to you, and we want to learn about you.
I'm a Dade guy too, Janae. That's my day job. I spend most of my time in Miami-Dade during the day, but my opponent has attacked me for being a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar corporation. So I'm okay with that. I'm running against someone who's unemployed, but that's totally by her choice for campaigning on the clock, and she had to resign for doing so. The Scum Sentinel won't highlight that. They did one quick story. She works for a school board member who has turned his back on the Black community, but has now found how to enter a Black church just in the last 4 months, when that same school board member called me 2 years ago to get the support of Black elected officials. So shame on him, shame on her, and shame on everybody that's been supporting her and him. And I'm publicly calling it out now. Janae is very clear. Let's talk straight. It's 9:23. Okay, you got me. You got Tori unfiltered, and most have not seen this. Okay, because on the dais you get 3 minutes and 4 minutes and 10 minutes. People take their pot shots, right? You get your pot shots, and then you can't respond. No. Catch me at the polls. I just told someone you can. When you see me, you can ask me any question you want to ask. But some of these folks are text message and Facebook and Twitter freaks. But when they see you in person, they have nothing to say. So anyway. I'm God is good. Let me anyway. All right. So
talk about your work as school board member.
Look, my record is clear, Janae. Let's just be clear. For 2 years, I have served admirably on the school board. On day one, I told a former superintendent, we will be in a school district. That superintendent told me it will take 7 years. The Scum Sentinel got that right. They quoted that, right? But they just did an editorial giving another board member praise when that board member said, oh no, I believe you. It's going to take 7 years. But we support those board members, okay? Let's be clear, right? They were blindly following a leader that was wrong for Broward, okay? I also told that same school superintendent, we need to focus on student proficiency rates. So guess who's the one board member who asked for proficiency data for our Black, Hispanic, Caucasian students by gender, by grade level, by zip code? Who did that? Tori Alston, okay? So let's fast forward. Less than 30 days ago, what happened? Broward Schools is now in a district, no D and F schools. And of course, everybody wants to jump up and take the credit. And that's okay, because it was a team effort. But it started from a policy standpoint from the board. It's a board shift, a board mindset, okay? So let's think about it. In my race, there are some who want to go backwards. And that's their choice. But to the listening audience, there's only one person in my race who is qualified, who has been in Broward all his life. I didn't move here 3 years ago. There's only one person in my race who has higher education experience, who has K-12 experience. I've been in the classroom. I've been a district administrator. There's only one person who's been a former county commissioner. I've served at the highest level. No, is that Tamila? No, I'm not solely responsible for the 8th district. I'm responding back to your audience. It was a team effort, but it was my questioning of a former superintendent that shifted the board's focus, and the vision that is read now at every school board meeting started when I was the school board chair. So that's just a record and a fact, but the Scum Sentinel won't point that out, and I don't need them to. because I appreciate different audiences who've done it. So my record is clear, Janae, Brian, and the listening audience. That's why so many have supported me. That's why for the last, 30 days ago, a poll was done, and it showed some positive news on my side, and I don't have to say it publicly. And guess what happened on the 31st day? They tried to throw the kitchen sink because they thought VBMs or vote by mails were going to hit the next day. Boy, were they wrong. Then they thought, well, let me do article number 1. Yes, Dr. Bright, my brother and friend, I'm going to read what you just said. I know you. They know you. You're my NAN brother. I'm the NACP guy. But anyway, we'll talk about that later because folks try to spin all the spin they can do. I just want the listening public to really know what's at stake next Tuesday. You got 5 school board seats on the line. I'm going to focus on District 2. District 2 is a minority-majority district. District 2 is a minority-majority district. I believe that we should maintain qualified and experienced board members who know what they're doing. I haven't mentioned party. I haven't mentioned race. I've been talking about issues. But there are those who want to spend 95% of your time talking about everything else, getting you distracted from what's the most important. So, look, I appreciate the listening audience, those who know me, those who I will get to know. Hopefully, when I'm elected, there's an avalanche. Hopefully, at 9:01, 7 days from now, when there's a green mark next to Tori Austin, doing what I know many whispered to me. I've been doing the right thing. I push back when folks are wrong. I speak up and speak out. I've been doing it all my life, and I'm not going to stop doing it. Now is the time for us to get it right. The board can go backwards. Let's be clear to the listening public. We can go backwards, and you can go backwards in 7 days. Employee raises are on the line.
And so if reelected,
$3 billion, yeah.
No, I was going to say, if reelected, what do you plan to do? What are some of the pillars or things of your platform that you plan to do if reelected?
Well, the key is, get us to maintain an A district. But let's be clear to the public. An A district just says about 60% of your students are proficient. Well, guess what I also just said? 40% are not. That's the conversation, right? And guess who those 40% are, Janae? They're in District 2. They're in District 1. They're in District 5. They're all sprinkled around this county, and we know what types of communities they're in. You need a board member who understands the AP dual enrollment honors Tori Austin of 20 years ago, and the student who was not AP dual enrollment honors in Cambridge, who needs that additional enrichment and support. That's what I want to do when reelected. I want to make sure, Brian, that what I've already have a track record of doing. I've asked for the list. How many millionaires have we made that are small businesses in this county in the last 5 years? What board member has asked that question? I'm sorry, let me say it differently. Since we are pushing all these blue cards, purple cards, brown cards, pink cards, all the color cards, right? What have they done in the last year? What have they done in the last 2 years? They were silent as a doorknob, Brian, and you know it. But many folks that now want to support, no, Brian hears me, right?
I hear
These
you.
folks are silent as a doorknob, right? But Brian and others are supporting these folks who were silent as a doorknob 2 years ago.
Oh, no, hold on a
They
second.
were voting against our interests 2 years ago.
Hold on a second. Can you, is this thing on?
Yeah, it's on. I hear you. I was trying to keep going, but I'll pause.
Don't speed past that now because now you're doing the thing that I've been trying to avoid doing, which is obfuscate the truth and the facts, right? Okay. Because I've been trying the whole time to make it abundantly clear in public the way I have been in private, and that is that if I am, as a Black advocate who has put my livelihood and my reputation online, as one of your colleagues had me investigated for fighting for Black businesses, I have to be able to look at that 9 and say, who are the people I can call? I've made it abundantly clear that because of our personal relationship, I count you as one of those people I can call. What you cannot and should not even try to do in trying to talk about your virtues as a candidate, because we're not, you have this benefit of providing your platform because you came on. So you and Pastor Ferguson are being rewarded for coming on and joining our conversation. People are getting to hear you directly, and they're getting to hear what your thoughts are. But don't obfuscate the truth in terms of who are the people I'm supporting, because you know me well enough to know who I'm supporting and why.
No, I didn't. I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about people.
Okay, I just thought you said me. That's all I'm saying. I just want to talk about it. That's it.
Well, Tori, I want to give you some final thoughts before you head out. Just give you another opportunity to say what you want to do as school board member to improve the lives and the education of students in Broward County. Because I know you got to go get your wings and fries for your wife. Get you. We don't want to get you in trouble with the missus.
Oh no! Listen, family first.
Yes.
That I know 120%. My wife and kids come before all the other craziness in this world. But I'm a man of faith. I always have been. I'm strong. I'm a fighter. I'm from Broward. I'm for Broward. I'm qualified. I don't let the noise get to me. Folks know me. You've heard my track record. I'm clearly experienced. I am clearly qualified. I don't get into the politics. Do I understand politics? Of course. I've been all around it. But in our schools, that's the point. Leave the politics aside. Leave the partisanship aside. Leave these race games aside and all the other types of games that I think folks continue to play and have played over time. I'm not going to play those games. So I think the election is very clear. And in my race, it's black and white. It's clear.
And let them know your race.
Side,
I was going to say, let them know your race in the district, in the area that it covers, so that for people who know.
District 2 represents, covers Miramar, Pembroke Pines, Southwest Ranches, small, tiny slither of Davie, small, tiny piece, Cooper City. So for those that are in District 2, the race is clear. The race is black and white. There is only one candidate who's qualified, who has a track record, who has education experience, who has board experience, who has governing experience, who has classroom experience, who has K-12 administrative experience. I mean, I can't keep going. And I'm not going to spend my time talking about my opponent, because that's not what I'm supposed to do. I don't do that. I am the most qualified, and I'm asking everybody tonight. I'm humbly asking for your support and for your vote if you live in District 2. If you have a friend, an aunt, a cousin, grandma, grandpa that lives in School Board District 2, let's do the right thing. We can do the right thing next Tuesday. I've already heard on the ground. I've been at early voting sites every day, all day, talking to many of you. Many of you text me, call me, send me messages. Janae, I'm sorry I didn't see the first message on Facebook because I was driving, coming down the turnpike. Sorry.
It's all good.
But I appreciate everyone and the opportunity to come on, and I appreciate the one or two folks who pinged me and said, Tori, please get on this conversation. Your name just came up. I said, what do you mean? But look, I just left a forum, as I just told you all, and the race is clear. The folks in the room said, the race is clear. And in my race, it's black and white. So I'm asking for everyone's support. Janae, Brian, for the time, and looking forward to coming back if you invite me.
Look, you're now a friend of the Hollow News family. I hope you like and follow us on social media. We are a platform for Black and Brown millennials in South Florida. So make sure you follow us. And this is Tori Alston running for Broward County School Board District 2. So thank you for coming on. Always, anybody coming to the hot seat is good with me. Good night. Man, that was Brian. I don't know who you is or what you do in Broward County. But
Look,
I fucks with it. I fucks with it.
let me tell you something, man. You gotta be consistent as an advocate. You gotta be willing to stand on what you believe. You gotta allow for the truth to both confirm what you believe and sometimes correct what you believe. I've made it very, very clear from the beginning that on that blue flyer, one of them is different. And I know that by now, I think you all have seen that difference. Two of them have had a
Tory a
chance
G.
to, huh?
I said Tory a G. He was like, I'm not gonna let you.
No, yeah,
Just-
right. But you ought to hear our conversations in private. And so I'm saying to you that if you know what, the people are going to vote. I am still concerned, and I'm still standing on my initial concern because it is a responsibility of those people who are being claimed by somebody to make it clear that they are not participating in that. It is his responsibility, and he had to do that. And that's why we gave him this opportunity to do that. You can't tell us that you were not supposed to or you didn't have to because somebody else said. No, the Confederates are claiming you as their soldier. You owe it to us to make sure we know that you are wearing our jersey and playing for our team. Don't just ask us to take that for granted. And I'm glad he had a chance to come and do this. So we'll have a chance to have more conversations. I want to be able to, Janae, if we get a chance to get, because, one of the things that Tory did, which is different, was Tory made some statements about some of his colleagues. And I'm sure those colleagues will want to clarify those statements too.
Yeah.
So
I mean, look,
yeah.
we got to try to figure out. I mean, I don't know if we're gonna be able to get this in before the primary election on the 20th. And look, I'm not sure race and racist.
That's
all things race
Sandra. Yeah, she has a.
Oh, okay.
That's Sandra.
And so she was saying somebody named Tom Vasquez is in the chat. He wants to join too. He's a candidate for the countywide seat, District 9. Not sure if that's Broward County or the school board or.
No, it's Broward County, but I'm going to have to wrap up. We're an hour and a half.
No, I know, but I'm just saying we may have to have a whole nother situation or do this again because you had it going on, and I appreciate you for bringing that fire to Can We Talk podcast. I don't think I've ever had a show like this before. So Brian, before you go, let people know how they could follow you, how they could learn more information about you. Let's give them your social media handles.
So because I was an elected official for 7 years, almost everything I do is under my government name. So Brian C. Johnson on Facebook, Brian_C_Johnson on IG. You could find me all over the place using just search my name, Brian C. Johnson.
Oh man, Brian, this has been an amazing show. Look, we got to do some more of what I call lives, like when we for real live. I'm just, man, this is amazing. Yeah, we need somebody saying we need a part 2. Brian, we may have to figure out when we could do this.
One other thing, one last thing before I go. See, this is exactly what our people need, Janae. This is what you and I were talking about. We don't have. We have these candidate forums, and they give people 60 seconds to give a whole lifetime of experience and ideas, and you don't get a chance to do that. And we don't get a chance to go back and forth like we just did. So hopefully this was beneficial for some people. I do want to make sure I was very, very clear with the first one as I was with the second one. I believe and I stand on being very consistent that there's a chance that when you have somebody who is effective, and interestingly enough, this may actually also apply to that second one. When you have somebody who's qualified and who's doing the work for our people, you should not be replacing them for somebody who's unknown and or inexperienced.
The only thing I would have wanted to hear from Tory, and some people said it in the comments, is he didn't give us enough specific examples of the work that he's done as school board member so far and what he plans to do as far as education-wise. I was looking for some more specific policy issues. He was saying, like, to look at the West Side Gazette and people should know. And I'm like, a lot of us really don't know you on this conversation. So it wasn't like a full, Broward education audience, and so maybe he was a little bit confused on that, and maybe he could just be tired and exhausted from a whole day.
Sometimes we say things and we forget. Like, for example, I forgot to say this thing while he was there. There are teachers who have been texting me who take issue with this idea that board vision made the district a school, when in fact it was teachers and principals who worked against some of the stresses that's coming from Tallahassee that people like him who are Republican are associated with. That's why I'm saying you can't just assume we're going to assume that you're with us when you're affiliated with people who are trying to hurt us. So the teachers deserve the credit. The parents deserve the credit. The principals and administrators deserve the credit. The superintendents who speak to the board members, their job is to provide the resources for the people doing the actual work with our children. So I applaud all the teachers and all the principals all throughout this district because they're the reason we're a school.
Gotcha. And a salute to you, Sandra, for your show. Any show that talks about race and politics and give people a chance to get more information. I'm all about it. Brian, thank you guys. Thank y'all for watching. We're gonna try to do some more live shows. I've been playing with an idea of trying to do at least a weekly or a couple of times a week live show and kind of similar to what Roland Martin does with his daily digital show. So as I get through this election season, I'm gonna try to test that out with y'all. So Brian, thank you for giving me this pilot kind of episode. We got to figure out how we could do this again, definitely before the general election.
And our people need this. We don't have a place where we can get this kind of information in exchange. So we got to do it, and it's on you, Janae. We're putting the pressure on you to make sure we have this platform.
Well, look, if y'all, this is the way we can keep this going. Y'all follow me on social media. Hello News are all the social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. Make sure y'all hit the like and subscribe button. Go over to YouTube. Help us get up our followers and our subscribers so we can get to monetization. That way we can get some more automated ad money coming in so that we can pay for things like this. It takes equipment and getting people on and the platforms and the software we use. So y'all support us, share this, like and subscribe. If y'all like this live show, let me know in the comments. Give me a thumbs up or applause or something so that I know that we should keep doing this. And Brian, we're gonna talk offline. We gotta figure out how to keep this magic going because I don't know what you did. All you did was press share and them people started texting each other, and we need that type of energy on the show. Look, guys, make sure y'all follow us again. Go to hallonewsmiami.com, sign up for our email newsletter. We have exclusive content for our loyal followers there. Sign up for our email newsletter and our website. And guys, thank y'all so much for watching. We will be doing this again. Hey, mommy. Hey, best friend JJ. Hey, friend Tammy, Tamila in the comments. Oh, shout out to Sonia Knights and Dickens, attorney. She was giving me, I was trying not to laugh at her comments. She had me going on. Hey, babe. Hey, Tanta's watching. I don't know if you got any shout outs, Brian, you want to do before we head out.
Nah, just you. I mean, I know some of the same folk too, but just you. It's just our people just have to make sure that we are actively involved. Early returns are that the this election turnout is very, very slow. We need our people to give more of a damn about Project 2025 today and not just wait until November. We need our people to commit to selecting and not just electing. Don't just push a bubble because somebody told you so. Take your time to tune into places like this so you can hear from people directly and you can hear an exchange and make up your own mind. But make sure that when you make up your mind, you are selecting the people who you truly believe are in your best interest and not just electing the people that somebody with an ulterior motive have told you to.
That part. That's the name of my other show, but definitely, guys, this has been amazing. I'm gonna go get my Gatorade and get me some rest. And Brian, thank you again. I appreciate you as always for supporting Hollow News and supporting Black-owned, woman-owned media, local media. I appreciate you, brother.
All right, thank you, sister.
This been a good night. We'll see y'all next time. Woo, Tori and Pastor Ferguson. Y'all don't snatch my edges. I gotta go put some oil on my edges. Y'all don't snatch them. Good night, y'all.
Thank you.
And we're out of here.